2017 Hot 6 GSL Season 1 Codex.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Codex. We just have one more day of this, and then we're in the finals, Artosis.
Oh my God, it's going to be so exciting, Tasteless. Sue is already there for the 5th time. This guy does have a championship.
Weird, man. He's in a finals again. I honestly thought that was never going to happen. I thought it was a really cool phase that we had. In StarCraft 2, we had this guy who kept getting there, and he was just one step away from being the best in the world, and then fell from grace and did it again and again and again. But now, here in the start of 2017, he's done it again.
He has tied MVP's record for the most GSL finals, which is a crazy thing, especially now, because we have less GSLs per year than when MVP was playing.
True.
So, and also, like, everyone's a lot better. There was, like, a lot of bad jobbers back in the day, man. Like, MVP invented kind of how to play. So this is so impressive by Sue. Of course, he doesn't have a championship, and whoever goes up to face him from tonight doesn't have a championship either.
That's right. Tonight we're going to have Stats versus Ryung. Ryung, I would say, might be the most interesting story we've had in a long time in a GSL, as far as somebody who was always a fixture in Code S, but I think never somebody that we thought, oh my God, this guy could actually win the whole thing, and I think he could do it this time around.
Guys, by the way, GSL Finals will be next Sunday, and it is, of course, going to be the 19th anniversary of StarCraft. I can't believe I played this game for well over half my life.
I feel old.
Yeah, we're going to have a StarCraft 1 match, the 4 greatest of all time. Stork, Jadon, Flash, Bisu, like the greatest Brood War players ever in a little single elimination tournament.
That's right.
It's called The Legend.
And listen, guys, get down there early because we have been filling up every time we have any match like this. It's going to be in the COEX Auditorium. If you're not familiar with where that is, that's right next to us. It's the convention center in the mall, just right at Samsung Station. It's super easy to find. So we're going to have this fantastic StarCraft 1 show match, and then we're going to follow that up, of course, with the GSL Finals, Sue versus whoever today's winner is. But listen, definitely get down there early because people are getting turned away in droves because this is just a popular event.
100%
especially
filled.
this one. This one might fill up faster than anything we've had before.
Yeah, people in Korea especially are crazy over the greatest Brood War players, and that's going to be really fun. Those guys are all in premium shape as well.
That's right.
So that makes it even more exciting.
I mean, between ASL, it's just this big Brood War revival. Yeah, these guys are in fantastic shape. If you're not familiar with StarCraft 1, but you do like StarCraft 2, there's really no reason why you wouldn't like both the games.
Yeah.
So come and watch the whole thing.
Hey guys, time for the interview. Stats versus Ryung.
생애 첫 GSL 결승을 바라고 있는데요. 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
Here he says.
안녕하세요.
And one of these guys is going to make their very first GSL Codex Finals.
컨디션 괜찮으세요?
How's your condition today, Stats?
그 토요일 1시 이렇게 경기하는 것을 처음 하는 거여가지고 아직은 좀 잘 적응이 안 되지만은 그래도
Saturday at 1 p.m. This is not my usual time to be awake or ready to play.
Me too, Stats. I'm a creature of the night.
And much like Tasteless, even though I say that, I'm going to do a great job tonight. This is messing with my biorhythms. He didn't say anything about Tasteless. He thought it though.
사전을 위해서
We all thought it.
시간까지 연습으로 또 포함을 하셨네요. 자, 김명호 선수 컨디션 어떠세요?
저는 컨디션 그냥 그랬는데 방금 대엽이 말하는
He's been practicing, going to bed early and getting up early.
와, 야외 결승 무대 정말 놓칠 수 없는 기회입니다. 어떠세요? 좋죠?
당연히 좋죠. 네. 생각도 안 하고 있었는데.
So we're going to have a finals outside of the studio.
그 야외 결승이라는 말을 딱 들으니까 갑자기 더 올라가고 싶은 마음이 더 들더라고요.
네, 김명호 선수도 동기부여 되시죠?
As soon as I heard that we were going to have the finals at the COEX Auditorium, it made me really excited. It's a great venue.
일단 올라가고 나면 그때 기뻐할 생각이고.
What about you?
연연하면은 경기력에 영향이 있을 것 같아서 아무 생각 안 하고 있습니다.
네, 자 김대엽
I
선수는
can't really think about where the finals is going to be. I just want to focus on today's match.
자신감이 있지 않으실까 예상을 해봤는데요. 이번 시즌 테란전 다 극복하셨잖아요.
네.
자신감
So
있으세요?
Stats, you actually won against Ryung in the round of 32. You must feel pretty confident because of that.
스토리로 봐서는 이번 시즌 테란들을 계속 다 극복해 왔었는데 이번 4강에서도 극복할 수 있었으면 좋겠고.
네.
네.
When I look at my story against Terrans,
동원이 형이 어떤 준비를
I feel like I can beat another
김동원
Terran, but
선수
it is pretty
아마
hard.
그동안
Graham's pretty
32강에서의
strong.
패배를 분석하고
And, he's
준비하는
been showing
시간이
a great
될 것
performance
같아요.
lately.
준비 잘 되셨어요?
준비는 정말 열심히 했는데
How are your
준비가 안
preparations
되더라고요.
for this, Ryung?
그래서 일단은 와서
I only prepared.
열심이 한 게 좀 여기 와서 나왔으면 좋겠고
네.
I've tried my absolute best to prepare for today. It didn't go well.
몰살시키려고 하신다고 하는데요. 오늘도 아마 전 탐사정 협회에서 오셨을 거예요. 어떠세요? 이런 포부에 대해서.
진짜
네.
경기는 지더라도
네.
What do you
일본은
think about Ryung's comments?
게임에
네.
임하겠습니다.
알겠습니다. 자, 벌써부터 이 신경전이 팽팽하죠. 이 사가 이격이 시작하기 전에 두 선수의 더
something
자신감
about a
있는
slogan to
한마디씩
protect
들어보도록
his
하겠습니다. 서로에게
pose?
한마디. 먼저 김대호 선수 들어볼게요.
저도 그렇고
So
동원이
before we
형도
start the
그렇고
game,
다 똑같을
say
거예요.
some
결승
words
가고
to your
싶은
opponent here.
마음이. 근데
All pro gamers have the
저도
same dream
약간
to reach the GSL
동원이 형이 아까
finals.
말했듯이 저도 그냥 결승 뭐 올라가고 뭐 그런
Like
거
what Ryung said.
중요성을 이렇게 생각하지 않고 편하게 경기에 임하면서 오늘 동원이 형하고 즐거운 게임 했으면 좋겠어요.
네,
I'm
즐거운
trying not to
게임하자
think
이렇게
about how
말씀하시는데요.
fabulous the final stage will be.
저도
I just need to
일단
focus
첫
on today's
번째가
match.
좋은 경기를 보여주는 게 제
What
첫
about
번째
you,
목표고요.
Ryung? What are your
그다음은 이기는
final
게 목표이기
words?
때문에 좋은 경기를 또 보여주려면 대엽이가 그만큼 일꾼을 많이 잡혀줘야 되기 때문에 네, 대엽이의 네, 실력에 따라 저의
All I'm thinking is I want to show a great match today.
대엽이가 잘했으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 이 결연한 의지의 김동원 선수
And to
그리고
win today's
김대엽
match.
선수까지 모두 GSL 첫 결승을 노리고 있는데요.
Yeah, if I'm going to win today, Stats has to lose a lot of probes.
All right, guys, we're about to start this match, so let's get ready. We're about to find out who's going to move on to the finals of the GSL Codex.
보는 게 아니라 이쪽에다가 또 이렇게 초대박 일단 터졌어요. 일단 파도가 버티면서 지금 방위핑 점수가 거친 살거든요.
갑니까 역시
오늘의 독재가 8강에서 끝나나요?
끝났어요. 프로토스의 해답을 잘했습니다. 선수들이 이겨낸 모습을 그려냈습니다.
게다가 오늘만큼은 또 그냥 이렇게 두시는 해야죠. 3개 일본의 15개 찍지 말고 10개 찍히게 되면 결국 힘은 쑥 빠집니다.
국방까지 깔고
그리고 모두가 됐을 때 모두가 됐을 때 모두가 됐을 때 아니 모두가 됐을 때
해병 입으로 정차
김동원 선수 결국 근성있게
내가 올라가지
장단으로 승리에 낙하다
9년간의 기다림에 끼어서 자가를 만들어냈습니다.
We are about to start game number one. This is Stats versus Ryung. Now, first of all, Stats, how many times is this guy going to become so close to being a champion and fall from grace?
Well, that's a very good question, Tasteless, because, of course, last year he did come close as well, making it to the finals of SSL and all.
Right.
Then this year, of course, in this WCS season, we have Stats getting second place at IM Gyeonggi, and then he gets second place at IM Katowice.
Right.
And here he is in the top 4. Maybe he'll go to the finals. Maybe he'll get second place there, too. This guy's story is starting to turn out like this. He's been unfathomably consistent for about a year now, getting top 4s, getting finals all the time. But there is not a championship with this guy's name on it. He owns no truly first place trophy.
He's never been king. And over here, Ryung, what's really interesting about this is we have several people that have been in the GSL Codex since the beginning. And we've been on for, I think, a little bit over 6 years now, which is pretty crazy to even say, because we've been doing this for a long time, Artosis. But Ryung, this guy's been around for so long. He's always been good. He was mentored by Slayer's Boxer in his early days of StarCraft 2. But he never looked as good as he does now. He's the last Terran in the GSL. When we have the 4 horsemen of Terran.
Yeah, and he's not one of them.
And he's not one of them, right? He's not Maro, he's not TY, but apparently that doesn't matter because all those guys are dead in this season of the GSL Codex. He's the last guy here, and he looks looked so good in IEM Katowice. I can't imagine he won't be a big challenge for Stats here. And look, if Ryung gets this far and does get to the finals, we really should not be that surprised. He's looked better than ever before.
It's a very good point, Tasteless, and I am wondering if he's going to be able to do it, because Stats is just on a roll recently. You know, he almost took out everybody. Maybe not Innovation in Gyeonggi, but other than that, like, he has been nailing the best Terrans in the world, even taking out Innovation in the last round, the favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah.
But look, this is a best of 7. We're going to see who's the better player here. And I've been really thinking a lot. Strategically, what are we going to see? Adept Phoenix is the flavor of PvT right now. It's the strongest way to open. Maybe some Colossus first openings as well. And, of course, some one-base shenanigans with things like Pylon Rushes, Oracles. But from Terran, from Ryung, like, we already know what the Terran builds are, but I just have to say this. I don't think this is going to happen, but if we are ever going to see a mech or BC game at the top level of Terran versus Protoss in StarCraft 2, we're going to see it tonight out of Ryung.
I think you're right.
I don't know if we'll see that. I'm not betting on it, but like, if anyone would do it, I would say it's this guy.
One thing to keep in mind as well.
That's not what I'm talking about. If someone's going to do it right now in this best of 7 and get to the finals, it could be Ryung.
Now, some people have been saying that Ryung has ridden on the matchup TVT to get this far and see this much success, but in some ways I think TVT, which is such a positional matchup, is not that fundamentally different in theory from TVP. It is still a position-based matchup. It's one that's a lot more centered on drops and trying to get your opponent with his army in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And he could easily do it here, even though TVT a lot more push-oriented. I think Ryung's still got a chance. Anyways, guys, tell your friends to join us. This is game number 1. Stats versus Ryung, a best of 7 to get to the finals of this season of the GSL Codex. In the upper left, in the blue, our Protoss player, he is
Splice Stats.
And in the bottom right, in the red, his Terran opponent.
TES Gaming, Ryung.
Very excited to see what this man has planned today. I think for Stats, it is going to be, you know, much more simple, straightforward stuff. Whereas, because like Stats has that kind of brute power, he has that just great long game type of play. He's such a strong defensive macro player overall. So you know, I think it's pretty straightforward. Whereas with Ryung, if Innovation is losing to Stats, right, and TY is barely defeating Stats, what does that leave left for Ryung, right? It's like TY is a tactical player. I think that lines up best with Ryung.
Right.
Because as you said, he's like a TVT god. He's so good at positioning, things like that. That's kind of TY style for this matchup. We don't think of him as mechanical as Innovation. So is he going to out macro Stats? I don't think so. We don't think of him of having the micro of Byun or the Killer Instinct or of Maru, right? So it's like, I feel like he has to approach this in a very strategic way, this matchup. He has to get the right strategies and do a good enough job with them that he takes Stats out in such a way.
We love you too. Thank you, man.
I love
You're like
you too,
making
Tasteless.
this great point, and I'm like, oh, look, there's a sign about it.
Hey, there's a sign.
Thank
the
you.
screen switched. We have to read it.
One thing whenever I think of Ryung, I just think of his tenacity. This guy is a fighter. I think you're right where it's not like Byun. We look at Byun and we're like, well, this guy basically picks fights he shouldn't win and then dominates them. Or the mechanical production aspect of Innovation, which is just like watching a supercomputer maneuver,
compile data sets.
Yeah, and then even somebody like Maru, who's just a beast when it comes to drops. I feel like Ryung, it's a little bit more like amorphous how we try to describe what he's good at, but he puts up a good fight. In a lot of these games, he gets behind. He still comes back. And by the way, we're already having probes killed off here, Artos. It looks like we're going to have possibly 2. So far, just 1 has been eliminated.
Looks like he shaded out with the first Adept, so wasn't there to protect anything. That's definitely a bit of a hiccup, no doubt. Finally does kill it off, but Ryung got a good scout down. This is a good opening for Ryung.
Yeah, I mean, getting one free probe and getting all the intel you need. I guess ideally it would have been better to keep that alive, but he's going to send this out. Now, this has become more common in the Terran meta, is you put this, like, outside, possibly at the rally, because Protosses have gotten pretty good about avoiding the edges of your base until they're absolutely sure, but this is a point in time where you're exploiting the fact that their screen might not be over the Oracle.
This is only alive puts mines out this far, so this is a very predictive move. If this flies over,
oh my god,
Stats should not be looking at this. Look at this move. Oh my god. Oh my god. Where's his face? This is like the most brutal thing that can happen to you when you open Oracle.
I mean, talk about losing momentum.
The Oracle
this
is
so important.
Like, it's your detection, it's your harassment, it's threatening them from leaving their base. They have to play more defensively. The Oracle does so much, and for him to catch that first Oracle like that, like, Ryung is in a great spot to open this game.
By the way, Ryung now pushing over here on the far left side of the map around this valley, and I do not believe, especially with the Oracle being gone, you got to remember the Oracle, if you have one or two of them together with your army, so much damage can be done. But here with the Cyclone coming up, a bunker being made, as well as a landed Viking just for a little bit more muscle on the ground, I think he might force us to cancel.
Yeah, you're very right.
This is going to be a really good start here for Ryung.
Wow. See, he's come really prepared here. He puts that Widow Mine out at a great location, and he's hitting this unbelievably fast push, getting him canceled, even has a bunker going up, so if there's anything actually fighting him back, he'll still live through it. Great play coming out so far here from Ryung.
And just like, you know, the very best StarCraft players you see in the world, it's not just that they know when to attack, it's that they know when to turn around. He immediately pulls back, not overextending to play it safe.
Indeed, you are right about that. A Widowmine getting caught here by Stats. So that's actually a very nice job by our Protoss player trying to fight back into this game right now. Does have a decent amount of Phoenixes, remaking his third as well. But in an area where it's harder to defend, to be frank.
Yeah, and this may set up for a really good push here from Terran later on. Kind of weird to see that Liberator over there. I guess he wants to use that Liberator later when a push actually starts, because I don't believe he forgot about it. So he's parked that up there. Meanwhile, a solid ground army here for Ryung, pushing out to try to secure the third base.
Yeah, this is really cool, Tasteless. Watch, we should be seeing Glaives and +1 started.
Oh my god.
And oh my god. Wow. Oh, he almost gets him there, not quite.
Did he? Well, hold on.
I think he saw it with
I believe he did. You know, sometimes it can be such a close call, and the player is completely oblivious. Okay, so he was aware.
Good catch there. It did remake the Oracle as well. But look, there's actually a Liberator hiding in the top left that we keep showing but not mentioning because it's kind of funny. He's sitting there. He's just waiting for the Phoenixes to fly out too far so he can get some probes, which is kind of neat. But look, here's the problem for Stats right now. He's going for Adept Phoenix, which is a great strat. But the strat requires that you take a fast third base with it so that you can actually macro up and get a big enough amount, like that critical mass of Adepts.
Yeah, you need
to swamp out the Terran unit, right? But since his third got canceled and it's so much later, that gives Ryung an edge on the next fight.
It certainly does. You can't just two-base this and expect to have enough to combat the Terran. So the way this functions for Protoss is that the Adepts are just really beefy units on the ground. I mean, they're kind of okay fighting most things except for a lot of splash damage, but most things are pretty bad against a lot of splash damage if they bunch up. But what you do is you have this fight you can pick, and then the Phoenixes come in and pick up all the key units that Terran needs to help fight the ground fight. And in some cases they do that for the kills. Other times they do that just to eliminate a chunk of the army so that the Adepts can kill everything off. And there's a real art to doing this with Phoenix Adept. So that's what he's going for. Now, a lot of times Terrans will just turtle through this and not allow the Protoss to end up exploiting this unit setup, because as the game gets further and further along, the Terran has a lot more sophistication with their army as they tech up. You kind of see Protoss sort of stagnant. And it looks like in this case with Ryung not really moving out here, but just having some spotters, Stats is going to set up for an aggressive play. He's making a Warp Prism. He's going to see if he can't come in here and possibly shut down this expansion or try to harass the main.
Yeah, just some decent harassment. Shades out. Make sure he's not really losing anything right now, and he's keeping good tabs on exactly what's going on. Look at that. The Liberator actually came in. Got 4 probes.
Not bad.
What a patient, cool move from Ryung.
Yeah, I mean, considering that's been up there the whole time, and had that been spotted and killed off, that's definitely, I mean, that just sucks for the Terran player. But he let it stay there and waited for that moment. and it certainly worked. I mean, getting 4 probes and interrupting the mining in the main is definitely a win there.
Now the Phoenix is coming down with the Oracle here. See what he can get done.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the Prism coming by.
No!
Ooh, that's a ton
it's
of
going to
damage.
be much harder to get the War Prism in there with only 20 HP and no shields.
And he really...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
This is...
Oh, my God. He's going to get it.
Wow, Ryung is so prepared. This is ludicrous right now.
This
Stats
is
having the
insane.
hardest time. He can't even get in there.
Yeah, he had to
Perfect
cancel.
defense. Perfect defense. Stats can't get anything done, and he's transitioning Tasteless. He's taking his 4th base. He's going up to Colossus Tech. I mean, he's trying to get in and like do a little bit of damage and keep Ryung busy. You don't want to just sit back and let Ryung do what he wants, but he's not really finding anything that he wants to get done.
Yeah, he's trying to get these Adepts in over here. I don't know if there's going to be that much room for them to get around. He does get the wall in up. I believe that blocked all the Adepts off. Am I wrong? Okay.
It did.
He blocked off those Adepts. Meanwhile, he's going to try to come in here. Now, this is not a bad play, but you got to be careful. You can end up hemorrhaging a lot of Adepts here. Even though you're killing workers, you got to be careful because this is the core of your Protoss army.
Especially when you're switching into Colossi that don't have range yet. Like, if he clears this all out, Ryung might feel like he can actually go for a counterattack. And in fact, if you just look at the supply, you can see that he can. He has a much bigger army right now. It is more sophisticated. As long as he's very careful moving it, he might be able to get some damage done if he moves out.
Be careful. Okay, he tags the army. And this is there so he can try to monitor when Terran might leave. And, of course, if Terran does leave, then the Adepts will shade back and start killing more workers. So right now, Ryung is a bit pinned. But I got to say, pretty much Ryung's been having a more winning game so far.
Yeah.
He's really shut down basically everything that there was to offer here as far as harassment. This is a bad feeling if you're Protoss. I mean, you're trying your very best to get in there, do damage, shut down some workers. And overall, except for that last attack we saw, he's pretty much denied everything. The Oracle, the War Prism. It's been a very good game for Ryung so far.
That's true, but he hasn't done any like counter damage yet, so Stats has recovered pretty well, right? He's about to have like 4 Colossus out and Blink and +2 attack, so these are all great things for him on 4 bases. He continues to keep Ryung back, but Ryung is going for the long game right now. He's making a 4th command center, and he's getting Liberator range while making 3 Liberators at a time, which can be very powerful on this map. The one thing he has to look out for is Stats outmaneuvering him, though.
You got to be careful against pushes on this map. There's a lot of valleys where somebody who has just more firepower and range tends to win the fight. It's not something where you normally get surrounds on or flanks off of. Especially for the Terran, because Protoss is just tagging this army over and over. So basically the Protoss just knows. However, there are still mines out on the map we see here. You want to be careful, especially with Colossi, comboed with Adepts and Phoenixes here. One mine can do so much damage to your army if it's clumped up. It's crazy.
It's so true. You know, you fly those Phoenixes in to try to take something out, and a couple mines hit them. They are all going to be gone. The Liberators going around the map right now, and of course, that's going to draw Phoenixes away because they are going to have range. In fact, it just finished up, right? So that is such a powerful upgrade, but very early in the game for Ryung to be using it.
Very good job just eliminating those 2 mines as he continues to press forward. Looks like he wants to rotate around here. The 3rd base is a little bit too well defended. Good job here with the Liberator. Going to be able to take out some more workers. At the same time, though, Protoss is interested in pushing in. I don't know. I think Terran's got a decent position as long as Ryung can keep rotating his army.
As long as those Liberators are in position, you are not going to break through there right now with all that bio sitting right underneath it. In fact, Ryung going up into a Ghost Academy while denying all this mining, Stats really wants to get some damage done right now.
Yeah, I think he almost has to get some damage done because eventually Ryung is going to be in a lead here. This is Bamboo's solid defense right now for Ryung. I don't really see an opening where Stats can actually claw his way in here and start to do any critical damage. In fact, really, Protoss is at high risk of losing a lot of units. Oh, hold that thought. He actually shaded these Adepts, and we just caught the tail end of this.
Yeah, very good move right there, getting that many Adepts in. He's making Ryung go back with a bunch of his units, pushing forward right now with those Stalkers, but of course with the bio underneath, having a hard time breaking through on these Liberators.
Okay, he's getting a lot of workers, but I think this might have been a little bit of a misplay here from the Protoss. He's going to lose all these Adepts, and he lost a lot of Stalkers back there. I'm wondering if retaliation from Ryung is going to be imminent.
Well, it certainly is tasteless. Here comes 4 Medivacs up into the 4th base area. There's some Phoenixes and a few Gateway units left over, but he needs to bring back the rest of the army. These 4 Medivacs are deadly.
He's going to be able to stem this and possibly come in here. Breaching the defenses of this base. We have some Orbits coming in. Phoenixes, are they going to be able to use to try to pick off any of these units?
Looks like he's going to come right in and lift up a ton of these Marauders. His Adepts chewing through a bunch of the Marines here. With the rest of the army coming back, he definitely will eliminate Ryung's counterforce.
A big win there for Stats, and that really exhibits why Phoenix Adept is so strong, is you can take out these little harassment armies here from Terran. Before Terran drops are just so difficult to deal with, but having these Phoenixes, just a few Adepts, is quite strong. Meanwhile, a push here in the upper center of the map. For Colossi, Phoenix's Adepts and Stalkers getting ready to get into a fight. Reinforcements coming up here for Ryung. Right now, Ryung is finally in a pushing position. He's been defensive this entire time. He's trying to press in.
The Bioforce here is not really that scary overall. It's really those Liberators. They're so far away. Can he knock those out before they kill his entire army?
A drop over here, forcing some probes to pull out. He might actually have to leapfrog these Liberators to get over to where the Nexus is, roughly, and then he might be able to start poking with his infantry.
You might be right about that. Ryung continuing to try to attack all over the place, dropping in that main base after the fourth. Now finally stemming in. He's going to be able to take out this third base of Stats, and Stats really can't do anything against it other than his own counter.
All right, so the drop over here, he's hitting the Templar Archives, which is actually pretty huge. The Nexus will go down.
Excellent pick off by Ryung, but he continues to lose a lot of workers here at home. His economy taking a big beating. His fourth base with barely any SCVs. A lot of the other ones being picked off. These Phoenixes still being worth their weight in gold, cleaning up a lot of his harass.
Okay, we see more units stimming forward here. He's going to go for these Robos, which is actually pretty huge. Taking those out is going to eliminate the Colossus production, making Protoss on a very primitive tech for this late in the game.
And look at this. He's bringing up all of his Liberators right now, which means it's going to be so hard to actually engage in here. Some big size storms go down now. Oh my god, indeed, that is huge!
Okay, he's blanketing this area. He needs to micro these Liberators back. Actually, Protoss can't get back over here to help defend his base. Meanwhile, a counterattack happening here from Stats. There is infantry and Liberators to defend, but he's overextended right now with his infantry.
He has to be so careful. All he needs is those Marauders to guard all of the Liberators. If he can do that, then he can hang on against this attack. There's not a lot of anti-air in Stats' main army.
Right now, it's 28 SCVs to 42 probes. Both these guys with sparse amounts of workers, but Stats' main has been breached. There's really no convenient way for him to get in there. Nice storms.
Oh, Ryung is eating so many storms right now, but he continues to do this base trade, and he's doing a great job. In fact, Stats is coming back right now to clean this up, which means no more damage over at Ryung's side of the map.
Right now, the tech here for Stats is in shambles. In fact, he might even lose his cybernetic score. That's just to point out how bad this is getting for him. I mean, you lose a cybernetic score at this phase of the game, and you are like back to square one, basically, especially if his tech hasn't been remade. He's going to try to go for an escape. He's picking up Phoenixes in pursuit. And he's going to be able to unload over here. The damage isn't done yet.
He's just trying to do anything he possibly can. Oh, man. 3 Liberators coming up. Just ravaging the probes at this mineral line, doing a great job right now is Ryung with the counter harassment, but if he's not careful, he'll lose all these units as well.
Yeah, he needs to be careful because he's doing a lot of damage, but I think a counter attack here from Stats is inevitable, and Stats is ahead in supply right now.
He just kind of walks through here. There's no anti-air at all to deal with these Phoenixes. They will end up taking out everything, and Stats' army has become so nasty. It has a ton of Colossus. It still has the original set of Phoenix here, 5 of them remaining, and 10 High Templars.
Dude, I'm so happy. This is such a good game between these two guys. Just for game one.
This is crazy.
I was curious how I was going to look, but this is a complete down and dirty brawl right now. Both players, even on workers, 33 to 33. I will say, Ryung has more functional bases, but I think Stats has a stronger army.
Ooh, but he could make a mistake coming up here. You have Liberators floating over a planetary fortress. That is not something a Protoss ever wants to try to attack into. Ryung staying in a very defensive posture right now. Stats patrolling outside his base, looking for anything he can pick off, but I don't know if there is anything.
Oh, wow, this is funny. He's going to actually bump into this warp prism here. It looks like he's going to try to unload and see if he can't do some more damage to this.
Oh, my God.
Doesn't look like Stats is watching. A storm comes down. Templars go down as well, and that's been microed into a location where units can't be dropped underneath it.
Okay, so it gets away, but loses a lot of the High Templars within it. That harassment option done for the time being. Stats continue to walk around, maybe going to go around the back, poke down those SCVs, stop some of this mining. Both players on just weak economies after how much damage they did in that base trade.
I feel like if Ryung can hang on for a little bit longer, he can win this game because Stats is still trying to remake most of his tech and remake these Nexuses. However, this position this is actually the opening that Protoss was looking for. To stand over a position like that, take out SCV's Storm there, and Terran can't really retaliate.
Anytime he pokes like that, he is definitely gaining a lot of value, but Ryung is out on the map with a couple medevacs here, going after one of the highly mining bases. The few remaining Phoenixes do come in. They start to pick off these Marines so they can chase down the medevacs, and he'll clean this up without taking really any damage. That was definitely a little win for Stats.
Yeah, it really was. Right now, it's Ryung kind of in an outpost on the bottom right. He has a small army, but it has enough technical properties where it can kind of hold off anything if done correctly. And we have Stats with a battered tech and economy. It's starting to get back onto its feet. But a very scary army that if Ryung is not defending properly, he will be completely bludgeoned and knocked out of this game.
It's very true. Like things like that planetary and just the Liberators with range being re-sieged perfectly every time are keeping him alive against what Stats has, which is this army that is so difficult to take out. One thing I do want to point out is we saw the Ghost Academy earlier, but I haven't seen a single Ghost.
That's
a Ghost
true.
could be so helpful. There's 7 High Templars out. That is a ton of Psy
It
Storm.
seems like he hasn't had a comfortable moment where he could tech and gets one of these medevacs. That's huge considering how low right now Terran is. This is 133 supply to 178. Stats may have taken a beating in the mid game here, but it could be the end where Stats actually walks over and smashes Ryung. I mean, Ryung needs to catch up, and he needs to do it badly. By the way, these guys are barely making workers, Artos. It's 39 to 37. They're not frantically pumping out more because it almost looks like neither player can comfortably expand.
Yeah, it's gotten so crazy this game that really they're just trying to make sure that they have the right type of army to fight against each other. A Ghost finally being pumped out here by Ryung. Maybe is going to be able to get something done when that comes out. You know, an EMP on those High Templars makes it much more likely you can take a fight.
Okay, Liberation Zone set up right now. Protoss is going to have to back up, maybe hemorrhaging some units here. My God, that army from Stats is really scary,
so
man. That's
scary. That's like what you want. If you can get that against Terran, you are feeling fine, man.
That's basically the whole goal, is to get an army that looks like that. So, Ryung, I got to say, he did a really good job, but he's kind of still floating at almost the same supply. And these storm drops, oh my God.
Ooh,
that was really close. We didn't get a shot of it. I don't believe he stormed again.
There's definitely some great...
it looks like he did get another storm up there.
Yeah,
4 more
SCVs.
kills. Not as bad as it could have been. It could have been like... a lot more.
Could have been 8 SCVs, 10, 12, who knows?
Even 13.
Oh my gosh. But look, this is like Ryung right now, rather. Like, these Ghosts are going to be the key to his possible victory coming up. If he can blanket everything with EMP, that takes away a huge percentage of the health. It takes away a huge percentage of the splash damage in the form of those Psy Storms. But the thing is, Stats can run away. He's got a way more mobile army. These Liberators... you have to get Protoss into a position where he's forced to try to break you. And Stats has shown he's not interested in getting that position. He is staying so far forward, and if Ryung ever tries to move out and pin him, he will just walk around one of the 100 paths on Abyssal and find another way to attack Ryung.
Oh, hold up. We have Terran moving out right now. Liberators, right now with the speed upgrade, just jutting across the map. He could set up a zone very quickly. He could try to force Stats back. Looks like Stats may rotate around actually for a counterattack. This game could turn into a base trade.
Well, this is exactly how you want to play this type of game. High Templar's actually going another direction. I think that was a bit of a mistake there by Stats. Has a few units over here on the left-hand side, adding a Dark Shrine as well, which is really nice considering this is such a crazy game. High Templar's coming up. Oh, will the EMPs hit? A few of them do, but Psy Storms come down as well.
Okay, so he does take out some of the... oh, whoa! Actually took out that base. Right now, I think we may be seeing the beginning of the end of this game here, as Stats is actually beating back the main army and is eliminating all these SCVs. It's only 10 SCVs left now.
Oh, man, he's going to be able to chew through just about everything with this army. The only thing he can't engage are these Liberators. They come back to push him out, but not before the damage is dealt. He lost that planetary, which was so important. So Ryung needs to get something done with this little group of units.
Okay, he's coming in right now. I think there may just be too much. Phoenix is picking up a few stray Marauders. A regrouping of the Protoss army could actually come in and end this game. Still, right now, Ryung with so little, just too few of everything Terran, he's not able to attack and defend at the same time.
Some Liberators coming out trying to set up. Psy Storm is thrown down. A retreat from Stats as well. Just biding his time while his main bulk of army continues to destroy Ryung's structures.
As the game moves on, I think Ryung is just beginning to run out of fuel. We see another attack coming up here. It looks like this will handedly be won here by Stats. Stats now regrouping around here to come in with the killing blow, and I think that should be GG.
I think you're right about that, Tasteless. Even though these Liberators setting up in great positions, there's not enough bio underneath to stop them from dying to these Stalkers. And with that, that should be the end of the game here. Stats with an incredible display of skill. GG is called, and Stats leads the series 1-0.
That was a really fun game to cast, man. It was like Ryung did such a good job there in the mid game, but you can see Stats just sort of adjusted, remade the right army composition, and note that for most of that, Stats did not poke in afterwards. He waited. He waited and waited because the dilemma for Terran was, even though Terran destroyed all this tech and all these workers, Protoss has to start, or excuse me, Terran eventually has to expand, right? And because the path that Ryung chose was to destroy tech and workers, he wasn't with a big army. So there's no way Ryung could expand, so Stats stays back, just plays defensive, and keeps Terran honest by staying outside. The moment Terran leaves, Stats runs in, pokes, destroys everything, and has enough supply to deflect the other attack there from Ryung. Really nicely done there by Stats.
It's just a masterclass in how to play against Liberator range, to be honest. Even though Ryung got all these early edges, he decided to go for this long-range siege, and it's great on Abyssal. I don't blame him for going down this route. But Stats is positioning, is walking around the map. He just did not let Ryung abuse him with that unit.
Very nicely done there by Stats, but that's just game 1 out of a best of 7. Game number 2 is going on the map Echo. Of course, when you're in a series this long, there's a lot of time to try to get reads on each other's playstyles and try to adjust. Let's see if Ryung's done that here in game number 2. Guys, tell your friends to join us. We are here in day 2 of the round of 4. In the GSL Code S, a fight to get to the finals to face off against Sue. In the bottom right, in the blue.
Splice Stats.
Maintaining composure throughout game number 1. So impressive.
In the upper left, in the red, our Terran player.
TES Gaming, Ryung.
You know, we did see a lot of that tenacity I was talking about from Ryung there in game 1.
Certainly.
It actually looked for a little bit like he was going to win when he got so much damage off, but I guess in the end of the day, he didn't really kill the Colossi off. He didn't really take the Phoenixes out.
It's true.
And when he lost that big chunk of his army, you cannot win little fights with Terran against a bunch of Colossi, a bunch of Phoenixes, and a reasonable amount of Adepts. They just have the proper unit comp to hold stuff off.
Yeah, it gets really tough against when you complete that unit comp, right? It's like the giant robot that gets, all the Transformers go together to make one huge Transformer or
like
something.
the Power Rangers.
Oh.
That's what the Power Rangers do.
Oh, yeah, they do that too, don't they?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that do that, but...
if we were a set of Power Rangers, I would be the head that attaches, and you would be the left leg.
I would definitely be the left leg.
Left leg for sure.
I am a left leg type of guy. That is so true, Tasteless. Wow.
Sadly, I feel like in truth, I would probably be the right leg. That's probably where we are.
Well, no, you'd be one of the 2 high school punks, is what you would be.
There you go.
I'd be the robot. Anyways, look, this, I think game 1 really showed, like, that it's so well showcased the way these 2 players are.
Yeah.
Because what we saw was Stats just slow and steady. He lost his first Oracle. He had to cancel his 3rd base, but he was patient. He played the long macro game. He completed his Pokemon collection to get every single unit he wanted,
That's right?
And then he just, waited Ryung out and waited for Ryung to make a couple mistakes, and that's where he won the game. Whereas Ryung, he played it very strategically. He did look a lot like TY. He had all these great early game moves.
Yeah.
Then his macro and his micro were just a little bit less than the 4 Horsemen generally show, right? And slowly but surely, Stats claws his way back in.
We have something pretty cute here. You see this pylon at the bottom of our screen, guys? Yeah. Well, we just had it, but there's one pylon down there. Seems like he is possibly, that could telegraph a quicker 3rd here. The fact that he's putting that there. So that little location that we saw back there between the 2nd base and the presumably soon-to-be 3rd base, that's a location where Terrans tend to push, so you need to have some pylons there. Now,
It also blocks any Reapers.
That's true.
From scouting, which
it does
is
both,
nice as well. So he might not even know that it's an Oracle. I actually wasn't. I was like too busy looking into your eyes and telling you what I thought about game one. But I don't think he knows.
But I do wonder.
Never mind. That coming out tells us he probably does.
Yeah. But I think with the fact that he's got the pylon set up here, with the highest levels, you can even look at. See, there it is, third base now. Mm-hmm. The highest levels of play, you can a lot of times kind of try to see if they're going to spot that. Okay, hold on.
His original rally for the Oracle went right over that Widow Mine, and then he changed it.
Wow.
The Observer just showed us. That's crazy. Like, Ryung's like, I know where he'll rally at first.
Well, let's hope he doesn't go back through there. This is actually headed northbound right now. Looks like it shouldn't be in the same path.
Yeah, it looks like it's just barely going to miss.
It's kind of a weird day for Protoss nowadays where you just kind of know there's possibly a moment where you could lose your Oracle at any point in time.
Yeah. Well, it was cool this game because Stats is already adjusting to what Ryung has shown him so far. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ooh, that was close. But he walked those Adepts up the map to draw any Widow Mine fire as well.
Yeah.
So he actually adjusted the rally point of the Oracle to go over the path the Adepts went on. I love it, man. Like, this is just showing how intelligent he is. And this same push coming up again, but suddenly Stats has an Oracle on his side as well. Will he be able to hold it?
Now, he did use a lot of that Oracle energy hitting that Cyclone.
Yeah.
We'll see how ready he is this time around. The Cyclone, of course, can be repaired, so it seems like Terran may have a lead. This also tells us, at least with the build and play style here from Ryung, he pushes regardless of whether or not the Oracle's killed. I was wondering if that was just a reaction to the death of the Oracle in Game 1. Apparently, it is not.
Okay, here he comes. He needs to take out this pylon immediately before an overcharge can go off. Mothership Core just slightly out of range, and he won't be able to get it going.
Okay, he's setting up bunker in the back over here.
Oh, my God.
And looks like these probes may be taken out. Protoss might need to gear up and go in for an attack here. 2 more Stalkers come up, and it looks like he's going to go for it.
He might be able to stop this as well. The Phoenix is coming in. The Oracle being turned on. Looks like he should have plenty of damage to actually wipe this completely out. But a Widow Mine sneaks its way into the natural during all this. 6 kills.
6 probes. And a Liberator over here in the main.
Ryung playing like a god right now. You thought he wanted to kill his third? Nuh-uh, bro. He wanted to kill all your probes.
He's actually got 14 probes killed right now.
This is
delayed
crazy.
Mining timing. That being said,
God.
Okay, 15 total right now. Now, granted, Terran lost a lot of that core army. That's a big blow. That's a big, big blow. Now, on 3 Nexuses, you can remake your probes quickly, but the rest of your tech and your gateways and everything are going to be so much later. And whereas Terran is just sitting here, at least for the time being, on 2 bases, looks like a third is going to be acquired. This actually could be risky. I was going to say on 2 bases, he should be fine. Whoa!
These Widow Mines are everywhere. Imagine if he had killed the Oracle, by the way. He was targeting it when it came over to help the fight at the third, and it only has 4 health left. If Stats hadn't saved that, he couldn't have cleared the Widow Mine in his natural, which means he would still be losing probes and mining time against that. This, like, Ryung, this was such a great plan, and the only, like, he would be way further ahead if he had managed to pick off this Oracle, but he wasn't quite there.
Now, making the command center here with, like, just building it right there like that, I think that's a little bit too ballsy.
Yeah.
That's a little bit crazy, guys. I mean, all the Phoenixes have to do is check over there, and they're going to be doing that anyways, even though there are Widow Mines on the map, because you're just kind of looking for that to figure out where the tempo of the game is going. Look at this. He takes out the Widow Mine. If he can force a cancel here, and I think Ryung might actually be overextending here. This number of Marines cannot combat this. And actually,
with the Widow Mine and 2 medevacs, he does have to pull back for the time being. But you're right, like, this would be finished right now, or just about finished, the command center, if he hadn't, been building out there. But Ryung a little bit greedy after that nice attack on the probes.
So we have infantry weapons about to finish up here. It looks like Stim is nearly done as well. This is going to mean that the infantry army here for Terran is going to be much more easily able to combat any mistakes that Protoss might make, any overextensions, any engages that just Protoss shouldn't have done. And luckily for him, he does get the third base up. Wow. You got to be careful, because if you actually force a cancel on that third base, it doesn't really matter that much what Terran did to you early on. You need to have another command center up, and you need, not just for the SCVs, but for the mules as well.
Yeah. Well, it's finally up. He has a couple Widow Mines here to defend against anything that comes in, and with the Prism popping out, and the fact that this is, of course, Adept Phoenix to open, good thing to have those there. Some good turrets placed around as well to try to stop any prisms or harassment from these air units coming in. And if Stats can't do any damage here, you got to start wondering how he's going to win this game because he lost so many probes early on.
He really did. Currently, the probe count is 61 to 63. Now, when you incorporate mules in there, Terran has a lot more economic momentum. Even though the supply right now is currently ahead here for stats by just a little bit, it's kind of a moot point because really the economic engine here for Ryung is going to be very, very strong and very scary.
He's about to explode in supply, to be honest.
Yeah,
and Stats needs to try to get something done before that occurs. Here he goes, dropping off some adepts in the main base. Nice move, skirting around turrets and all that. Widowmine coming up, some medevacs being boosted in with reinforcements to try to take out all of these adepts, but they're doing some solid damage.
Good denial over there by the depots. Looks like this Liberator will be taken out. Is a third base exposed? These adepts doing a lot of damage over here. It seems like most of the infantry army has been shaved off, and Stats may be able to actually breach in here. This is a crazy move. He might actually be able to just go in here and end this game. He just got the right position with the warp in, with the attack over there. Ryung was not in position. Oh my god, GG! What? Okay. That happened in like 25 seconds. What?
I'm getting chills right now. What? Serious nerd chills because what we just saw. Okay, this Stats we always think of as this steady, macro, defensive-ish monster. That execution that we just saw was Zest level. That was so clean, so precise. He was on top of every aspect of that attack. I cannot believe he just tore all of Ryung's units to pieces.
It looked like a zombie invasion. And not the slow-moving zombies. Okay, we're talking like fast barrel zombies that run into full speed. We're talking about zombies with no lips, guys. Just teeth coming in there.
God.
He just got killed so fast that we almost couldn't process it.
No, that was...
He had... Basically, Ryung had done a very, very good job back there, really punishing Protoss early on. All he had to do was get proper defensive position, and this was not Ryung playing poorly. That was Stats perfectly warping in and dropping the right number of adepts into the back.
Yeah.
Drawing just the right number of infantry back into the main so that the Liberators weren't covered. The Widowmines were spread out in such a way they seemed to be more prepared for Phoenixes coming in to pick up workers, for instance, or to catch warp prisms.
Line, maybe.
So there was no splash damage anywhere that would have allowed him to actually hold off that attack.
That was just crazy.
That was so sick.
Stats was able to kill him right there. Like, that was the last thing I expected was for him to die. I'm like, okay, he needs to get some damage tasted so that he can maybe win this game. And he's like, no, I'll just kill him. It's cool.
It was like, as I was casting that, I started to realize more and more and more. I'm like, oh, it's going to end. I'm like, GG! It just ended. Crazy. We're going to go to a short break. When we return, game number 3 here with Stats versus Ryung in the GSL Code S round of 4.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
제 아이디를 추가를 하면은 제가 나와요. 사연 주세요. 시가 넌 이미 늦어버렸어. 늦어버린 것 같다. 사람이 굉장히 좋아 보이나 봐요. 미안하지. 야, 니 용기를 좀 가지고 먼저 고백을 해봐라. 온 과에 붙인다. 뭉청아. 오빠야. 여기 애면 너는 그의 촉촉한 목소리에.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
양이놈 장난이 없다 근데 진짜.
땅땅치기 신제품 매콤 찹쌀을 지금 탱탱하게 먹어보도록 하겠습니다.
먹어볼게요. 하면서 겉은 바삭하면서 매콤하면서 약간 맛있는 매운맛? 맵다가 아니고 매콤이에요 진짜로. 열심히 입 털고 맛있는 게 순간 나는 파북이다. 매콤 짭스 띵네 사랑해주세요.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
아 진짜 오늘 어떻게 되든 나 헌팅한다. 아무나 친구를 누르는 거야. 뭐 유혹을 해봅시다. 24시간 뒤에는 이 사람이 못 봐요. 셋, 히. 바랑 합방할래? 이야. 새로운 인연을 만드는 거에 중점을 둬야 됩니다. 아, 남자는 안 돼. 빵야. 누구나 보면 반할 수밖에 없을 겁니다. 저도 또 같이 소개팅 같이 나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
What's up, guys? We are back at the GSL Codes, and so far, I gotta say, man, these games have been sick. I don't know if Ryung can come back.
It's pretty tough when you open up really well, like game 1, solid opening, game 2, 16 probes. It's tough. Like, how do you come back from that? Like, Stats is just like patient and knows how to kill him and knows how to get the right units. And
Game 2 was pretty scary because I think Ryung did such a good job, and it just showed how strong you can outposition somebody with.
Yeah.
Or how strong you can outposition somebody, excuse me.
Well, before we talk anymore about that, guys, GSL Super Tournament makes its return. Here we are, starting on April the 6th, running right through Sunday the 9th, all of April. Starting at 5 p.m. KST, a little bit earlier than we normally do out here. It's a sick tournament that we're going to have.
That's kind of like our little marathon tournament. Normally we have these tournaments that last for a month or two. I guess normally 2 months. But this is going to be one where people can marathon. And of course, don't miss out for the GSL Codes Finals and the Legend Show match.
The I Love StarCraft Day. It is going to be fantastic, guys. The 4 greatest Brood War players of all time in a single elimination tournament. I believe it's going to be Stork vs. Jaedong and Flash vs. Bisu.
Yeah,
both best of 1 with the best of 3 finals. So that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, part 2 of that day, the GSL finals. I mean, this is just, it's almost too much.
Seriously, mark that in your calendar, guys, because it's going to be starting early and it's going to go all the way late into the night. So you do not want to miss out on that.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing games so far, especially game 1, but his stats just too strong? It's like that type of execution we saw in that last game was just like so precise.
Well, here's the thing, okay? I think that with Ryung, he's done everything right, but he just needs to cover all of his bases after he makes those successful attacks.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's used to a retaliation from Stats like what Stats is able to do. Stats just dials it back, moves like water.
Yeah, and that attack he did to kill Ryung was like a Jason Bourne fight scene. It's like he took apart his gun and pinned him on the ground unconscious in less than a second. I don't even know how that happened. Like, just like, oh, you're dead. You killed 16 probes. You thought that mattered. It didn't.
All right, guys, we're going to go into game number 3. Stats with a 2-0 lead versus Ryung in this best of 7. In the bottom left, in the blue,
Splice Stats.
and in the bottom right, in the red, he is
TES Gaming, Ryung.
So yeah, I mean, we've seen Ryung with some of the best plays tactically as Terran in these last 2 games.
Yeah.
Pretty much ever. But the problem is that, Stats seems to take whatever the disadvantage was that he was at and turn that into an advantage. For instance, in the last game, Ryung was so ready for counter harass because I think most Protosses don't go for the kill move there, right? Like, he was basically like, okay, I got like 2 Widow Mines at my 3rd. I've got a few Marines and a Widow Mine at my main.
Some well-placed turrets and stuff.
I got Liberators set up here. And then it's like Stats just went in there perfectly, penetrated everything, and killed him.
Yeah.
And that's not normal for the other Protosses we've been casting throughout 2016 and 2017. The fact that Stats did that means he just understands the makeup of Terran at any point in time so perfectly.
He's so in tune with this matchup.
Yeah,
it's
really
crazy.
is.
Like, it was like a crazy thing to even behold there. I don't even know. I'm caught off guard with the fact that he just like went across the map and killed Ryung. But we'll see if Ryung can actually come back from here. He's been playing very well.
Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of weird about this is he's really playing some of the games of his life.
Yeah.
But Stats is just so punishing in every way. I mean, the fact that we saw back there a game where the Terran was just really doing a lot of damage to Protoss. Most of the Protoss players, if they had attacked and tried that, they would have lost their army and GG'd, and we would have been like, wow, Ryung is so good. But instead, and like I said, that was about 20, 25 seconds of that fight. It just suddenly you realized, oh my God, he's falling apart.
It was so quick. I think Ryung got caught off guard as well. Okay, it looks like we're going to have a pylon rush following up the Nexus here.
And this is it's pretty clear this is not a fake. Oh my God, is he going to get oh my God, he got the SCV.
No,
which actually, it does matter a little bit though, because you want to get as many workers as possible, getting that one for free. The Reaper is now being chased out, and so because we saw the double pylons there, it's pretty clear this is not like a fake attack.
Yeah.
He wanted to commit. So what he can do now is he can hit these depots.
And he can kill a couple depots. It doesn't look like he's actually got the range on it to kill off that reactor. I believe he gets the reactor,
yeah.
But still, killing a couple depots, slowing down mining down here. You can't even make SCVs out of that command center right now or anything. So some definite good moves here from Stats, especially when you can do this after making your Nexus first. You always got to feel good about that.
Yeah. So he waited for the last second before setting up that last pylon cannon here. Now he's getting the barracks. Does he actually end up killing this? Because that's really bad.
Possible.
That's shockingly Shockingly bad if he does. Okay, I didn't think he would get it.
No.
But it was close. And of course, he's still driving these SCVs away.
Yeah, and this is kind of funny because a lot of units were waiting over to the right-hand side, probably for a possible incoming Oracle, but the Oracle is a little bit later here.
Yeah, he instead went for a quicker expansion here.
But he's lost a decent amount of SCVs so far, to be honest. Look at the count already, 25 to 35. And, of course, all the SCV production time that he lost to that natural command center. This has already gone very well for stats.
So this game uniquely different from game 1 and 2. It was really Ryung who was doing the damage early on. Looks like he's more than aware that that Widow Mine is planted over there. Now rotating around here with the Oracle. He may just go for a... No, I guess he is going to go for kills. I was going to say he might want to try to start tagging the first...
Oh!
It was behind the refinery. Yep, there it is. Couldn't see it.
Stealth Widow Mine right there.
That was sick.
Well done by Ryung.
That was really good.
Kind of an old school place to hide it. It's funny because he's been putting them in such forward spots to trick stats, and now he puts it in like the original place that people hid Widow
It's
Mines.
like, it's almost, for a player his level, that technique almost below him, but it works out anyways because stats just got blindsided by that. But that was a good play. So I was going to say he might want to start tagging the initial mothership, not mothership, I'm sorry, medevac coming out here just to monitor movements, but now there's going to be Widow Mines moving out and about on the map.
Kind of interesting flying around the map a little bit here with that Widow Mine. Of course, having killed the Oracle, you're kind of forcing them to either make a new Oracle or get a Robo a little bit quicker. So this is a very annoying thing to throw this down here.
Now, when the transfer comes, he could get a ton of probes.
It's possible,
He could actually get a comically large amount of probes. And I don't know if Stats has figured it out. I think Stats assumes that it's up there.
Well, you saw the medevac, right? So he's kind of looking for a possible drop going into his natural.
Yeah.
But that's not coming.
Ryung with the mind games here. Let's try to.
He's so patient with
how
he plays this. Like, remember the Liberator?
Yeah.
In the back of the Abyssal game, and now he's like got this one Widow Mine. It's just sitting there. Maybe it only kills one probe, but you know what? Maybe it kills a lot more.
Well, it doesn't look like he has a huge transfer that's been sent over here to this base, so it probably will end up just getting one worker, which is obviously not the goal here for Ryung. Right now, Stats coming in here. He's just going to try to take out these depots. And since Terran already lost a lot early on, and then went for this harass with the medevac, he doesn't have a big army.
No, it doesn't really have that much. You're very right about that. Like, just this paltry force loses 2 depots because he doesn't have a whole lot of units quite yet. He is getting quite a few upgrades, though, so definitely going to grow in value coming up here.
Okay, so this didn't do that much. It got 1 kill. Obviously, the aim there was to try to get a bunch of probes, but it just didn't happen due to the way that he was trying to filter units to each expansion. Ryung is not in bad shape. Again, we really just want to watch for any weaknesses or holes in Ryung's defense. It's so crazy when you consider that Stats cannot see everything, how he's handled some of these situations that Ryung has thrown at him. First of all, Ryung has had some of the most deceptive harass we've ever seen in StarCraft 2.
You're very right about that. With units just sitting around waiting for a long time and then coming in at opportune moments where you don't expect them at all. Like, he's getting them in before you have things set up to see them get in, and then leaving them there.
Yeah, it's
for
really
a long
cool.
time, because then you're not expecting them anymore.
Okay, gets the Oracle. Nicely done.
Ooh.
That denies him spotters there for the Widow Mines. So Widow Mines, once again, are a real threat on this map.
There is a Robo on the way. More gateways coming up as well right now. +1 in Glaives finishing, so that's going to definitely make Stats feel a little bit better. But Ryung, he's got his 3rd command center about to finish. He's doing a good job on the upgrades, producing 2 Widow Mines at a time, and with no detection out, that makes it a tough situation for Stats.
So there's a lot more push potential on the map here. Dropping 1 Widow Mine, then a 2nd. He may pick up this other Widow Mine and try to come out here. No, he's going to stay back. Now, there's not that much that Protoss can do for the time being. He's going to feed 2 probes, 1 into each mine, and then try to deal with this a little bit later because he needs to start mining from this location as soon as possible.
And no doubt that Observer going to come up there first, but the rest of the Bioforce just below his army there, trying to find some way in to do some more damage, but Stats is starting to tighten everything up.
A little drop up here at the top. He may be waiting for Stats to try to push out and then run in here and massacre more probes. Excuse me, there's a spotter pylon over here. I didn't see that. So he will at least identify that this was over here. Going to try to come in here and get some more workers. And as the Protoss army chases this out, possibly end up with this Widow Mine connecting with a lot more of these units. Oh! Does it connect?
And he's going to kill one of them at least.
I think he actually...
He was out of range of the second one. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that actually connected. Yeah, that's crazy. All those lost shields. Could have been a lot worse, though, had two of them connected.
Well, that little dropped in a little bit. You know, got a few probes, got a cannon. The Widow Mines did get a connection, I guess, but nothing too big of a deal right now for Ryung, who is taking his third base. Starting to posture forward a little bit as well, but Stats is getting ready for his transition. Second Robo as well as Colossus Tech on the way.
Terran maybe trying to push out here. I think Ryung may go for a much more straightforward game here of just combating the Protoss versus trying to tactically dismantle him with drops and harass and everything like that. We're seeing the push headed over here. Now, there is a Warp Prism coming in here, and it's never quite clear until we actually get the shot of the Warp Prism coming in how ready Terran is going to be for it. But Terran is so far across the map, you really can't turn around. So this attack is becoming a commitment.
Yeah, he's got to get something done with this. Sets up those Liberators, has Widow Mines as well coming up. Only a handful of Adepts being warped in right here. Oh my god, a good connection right there on the Widow Mine.
Yeah, the Liberators are still forward here. About 4 Adepts doing damage. Meanwhile, there's going to be a warp in here in the main, but this attack right now from Ryung, maybe too much here for Stats.
Oh man, some of Ryung's units came in from behind, got picked off, and now some overcharges pushing him back. In the meantime, 29 SCVs have fallen. A drop in the main base as well as those few Adepts into the third. Just finding no answer for that is Ryung.
Okay, he's coming forward now, doing so much damage, but it looks like Stats will eventually clean this up, and the question now is Stats going to have enough of a possible counterattack to really smash Ryung? That was the majority of Ryung's technical army.
Yeah, Ryung doesn't have a whole hell of a lot left over. He still has an okay SCV count despite losing about 30 SCVs.
Yeah.
But his army is a little bit weaker, so he's got to be careful. I feel like he has to get defensive now.
We see the attack coming in. Adept shade forward and then cancel, as he does not want to overextend for the time being. A lot of pressure on Ryung. He tried that push, but it didn't really do that much damage. And in fact, Stats took a fourth base while that was happening. He has not yet saturated those mineral patches, but this is a problem, guys, because Ryung doesn't really have a convenient fourth base to take on this map specifically. I guess the most ideal base would be the center right, but that's like pretty far away. He could take the bottom center, but it seems like that would be very pushable if Ryung ever overextends and Stats walks across the map and smashes that.
Yeah, does he stay on 3 bases then and just try to kill one of Stats'? It's really hard to say what the right choice is for Ryung at the moment, especially with Stats kind of being everywhere at once. Every single time Ryung has a move set up, there's counter-harassment that kills a bunch of SCVs, and that's in every game so far.
Okay, we have the Adepts coming forward, blocked out. He's just trying to get a gauge on where exactly Ryung is in this game. What we do know is his 114 supply to 168, so Stats has a lot of momentum. Any mistakes here by Ryung, and Stats could end up punishing this, resulting in a loss here for Ryung.
Especially with this many Colossus popping out right now. This is such a scary army that's coming out. Of course, Ryung already has an idea that it's on the way. He has a lot of Vikings coming up. I do like this choice quite a bit. If he has enough Vikings to knock out all of the splash damage, then that's a situation where he might be able to kill off the entire army.
Yeah, you know, as the Colossus begin to add up in numbers, it becomes so punishing if Terran ever overextends because everything that's clumped up is obliterated. And the Colossus is not a hard unit to use. You know what I mean? It's not one of these things where everybody goes, his Colossus play is really good. It's just
that Colossus micro.
His Colossus.
The way it walks forward over his army and kills everything.
Yeah, exactly. it's just a very damaging unit. And as good as Ryung is, I mean, if he makes a mistake with this much splash damage out here on the map from these Colossi, it's going to be a problem, man.
Well, right now he's walking out. Those 4 Colossi are ready to get some damage done. Looks like his upgrades are 1-1 at the moment. Ryung is about to have 2-2, which makes a gigantic difference. But the army of Stats is much, much larger right now.
Notice he's attacking here from the top. This may pressure Ryung to try and counterattack here, but I think he's going to have to hold his ground.
Will the Vikings be able to actually get some value here, kill off some of these Colossi before he loses everything? I do like the fact that he's sitting back behind the 2 Liberators as well. 4 medevacs heading towards the main.
All right, here we go again. The drop is coming in. He's activating these pylon cannons. More warpins coming in right now. The mothership does go down. Meanwhile, Stats is scrambling across the map to get back home.
Yeah, this is really deadly from Ryung, forcing Stats back. A great move, but Stats is taking another expansion up north. He's still got a very solid economy. Even if Ryung does damage here, it might not be enough.
Oh, he's unpowered those two forges. And he's going to unpower. Oh my god, this whole base is lights out right now. If he can actually take these forges out, he's going to try to fight these adepts first and foremost.
Big shade in, trying to save these forges. Really wants that 2-2 to finish up.
Oh my god, Artosis, he's going to get the forge, but more importantly, there's a big counterattack coming here from Stats.
Well, is Stats going to be able to actually get that counterattack to go off with the Liberators and Vikings there? It's very hard to push in, and Ryung actually holds on against every adept in this main base. Oh my god, the upgrade is still going. He needs to target that.
It's got about 10 seconds left to complete, and it goes down. Nicely done.
Huge moves coming out of Ryung right now, fighting back here in game number 3. You never want to go down 0-3 against a player like Stats, and Ryung is doing his best not to.
Okay, he's continuing to take out these pylons. I got to say, the pylon spread was perhaps just a little bit too much. That was a serious amount of damage, and now the follow-up attack here with Ryung having superior supply. Stats knows he has to hold on and do a perfect job or he is going to get knocked out of this game, and it's going to be 1-2 with a win here for Ryung.
Oh, man, that is a good Liberator spread. The Vikings actually... Oh, the Colossus have no anti-air. Just a few sentries there. That means that the Colossus could get picked out, but are the Vikings going to continue to follow?
It looks like he was a little bit indecisive. The Vikings turned around and are now in pursuit. And, yeah, I don't think there's anything these Colossi can do, right? That's not going to help. And Phoenix is not going to help. Sentries, I guess they can shoot air. I don't think they're going to kill air that fast.
They're going to tickle those things to death? I don't think so. Like the Vikings. Look at the Colossus. They're trying to hide. They're trying to run.
Oh, my God. He's trying to get these stalkers up over here. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is bad.
Sick moves from Ryung here.
This is the backbone of the Protoss' army, and it is all going down.
Those poor sentries not able to do anything here. Ryung starting to clean up Stats' bases, even harassing some of the ones to the north. And I would say that just the size of this Ryung army is going to be too much for Stats.
I think this game may be almost over. I don't think that this is a game that Stats can engineer a comeback in. The supplies alone tell it all, 162 to 186 now. And this army is just going to come here and wipe this out. Not to mention Stats has no tech with this army. It's just tier 1 units, Stalkers, Adept, Sentries. Yeah, he's got some Templars. That's not enough Storms, I think, to take this all out.
He doesn't even have Storm Research.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
Like
he lost feedbacks.
Yeah. I mean, there's not even really medevacs here, 2 feedbacks, so he can't get any real damage done. He's going to lose his remaining bases. Does warp in a few DTs, kind of the last-ditch effort here of Stats to break through.
Now, does he have any scans? How quickly was he landing mules? I guess he doesn't have scans. That's hilarious.
Yeah, this is kind of funny.
Yeah. This guy is macroing so hard. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that was cute. Turns it immediately into an Archon. Buys some time.
Yeah, I mean, Stats right now is doing his utmost to make something happen. In fact, looks like he will clean up that one army.
Now, he's only just now taking his 4th base. So important to note is that Ryung doesn't have, like, a lot as far as army goes. He traded a good amount. Stats' tech is in shambles, and he's got these weird kind of secure positions around the map. But let's see how this counterattack goes.
Oh, man, the landed Vikings are actually really valuable in this situation against mostly Stalkers.
First time we've said that in the cast.
I know, right? But in this situation, they're going to do a great job. Oh, God, the Ghost coming up, picking off High Templars. Another EMP goes off, hitting the Sentry, picks off most of those as well. And Stats just really doesn't have enough left here.
Yeah, he might have been able to do some damage had he gotten in there at a better position, but even though right now Ryung has more workers and their armies are actually closer in supply than it looks, I just don't see him recovering. But, I say something like that, and then I think back to game 2, and I say never count Stats out.
That is true. And he's getting DT Blink, which is, in these types of low econ situations, really quite fantastic. The thing is, does he live long enough for that to finish? Does he live long enough to actually make use of it? And it doesn't look like it, but he's getting in here trying to do some counter damage. That's a lot of SCVs that he can kill.
Meanwhile, a push up here at the north. These Adepts are being taken out, and I believe this should be the killing blow. There should not be enough here. Even with force fields, this many medevacs healing up these units, just Stalkers and Sentries doing damage.
Oh, the Stalkers coming in, seeing what they can get done. Oh, that one pylon.
Oh, my God. GG! Ryung wins game number 3. with his first win here in this best of 7.
That was good job by Ryung. Really the turning point in this game were those 4 medevacs hitting the main base while he was successfully defending at his third with Liberators as well as Vikings. Ryung finally getting his name on the scoreboard. I tell you, this was looking like a very bad series for him because game 1 he was winning and ended up losing. Game 2 he killed 16 probes. You'd think he'd be okay at least after that, and Stats kills him instantly. And then finally here in Cactus Valley, picking up that first win.
And let's not forget what happened at IEM in Poland. Stats had a very strong showing early on against TY, and as each game passed, TY downloaded a little bit more information on his opponent, and eventually, by the end, he was able to smash him.
That is very true. There were some great builds mixed in there as well. Ryung, he hasn't shown, to be honest, he actually has shown a lot of variety so far. He's mixing up where he's putting Widow Mines. He's getting quick Liberator range in one game, quicker Vikings in the next. But what will he do here on Newkirk Precinct?
We're going to find out, guys. Our game has now loaded up. This is game number 4. Stats versus Ryung. Stats with 2 wins. Ryung with 1. Only one of these 2 will make it on to the finals here in the GSL Codex. In the bottom left, in the blue, he is Splice Stats. And in the bottom right, in the red, he is
TES Gaming, Ryung.
Got that tongue.
Yeah. It's a must-win game for Ryung, I would say. Going down 3-1 is just, it's so tough. And you can't let Stats get to match point when you only have 1 on the board in a best of 7.
Well, yeah, in a best of 7, it's very difficult. It's like the best of 3 and a best of 7 are completely different beasts to tackle.
Yeah. Well, the best of 3, Stats has already finished this one out.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a much more middle-of-the-road build. And I can't really disagree with that. I think we all want his babies.
Well, they would be Gosu little babies for sure.
They would be. Oh, happy birthday, Jimmy. And you do got to love your bros.
Yeah.
You do.
It's important. Love is what makes the world go round.
That's right. An infinite resource, Artosis.
An infinite resource.
That's right.
For some people, Tasteless. Not for me, though. I used up all my love on StarCraft and you years ago.
That's right, man. Let's see what happens this game. This game also sizing up to be what should look more like a more normal PvT, at least for starts.
Yeah, I think you're right. Newkirk is like it normally progresses pretty normally, and then it kind of comes down to the initial drops that are going to happen, right? Because that main base is so wide open.
We got a baguette there in the audience.
Yeah, I saw Coca down there today.
Coca.
One of the 2 friendship servers.
The 2 friendship servers down there in our audience. I'm sorry, we don't have a mothership on are we? Do we? I'm sorry. I don't see it coming, so this is a fake right now.
Yeah, this is just a very quick oracle, it looks like, that's actually coming out. Kind of a cool fake, though. Really trying to scare Ryung.
Okay.
Right?
Are we not seeing a mothership on the...
No, he's just trying to keep this over here, I think, right now. He's sending over an Adept. Like, I mean, for the low cost of a pylon, I guess you get to kind of see Marines pop out. You get the Reaper to stay at home, stuff like that.
This is interesting. The Adept's going to come up here and chase us back. I don't know how I feel about this, but assuming that that was not a mistake.
I know how you feel. You feel confused about
this. I feel very conflicted about having that pylon finish.
Yeah.
But okay. He went with it. And now we're going to have an Oracle come out on the map. We'll have to see if the Oracle does get caught.
Oh, do you know what else? Actually, by making the pylon, this just struck me. You'll always have them make, before the first Widow Mine, a Cyclone. And if there's 2 Widow Mines,
you are so smart. Yeah.
The Oracle is very hard to keep live. If there's only 1, it's very easy to fly around.
You are so smart, Artosis. Look at you.
Stats is so smart.
That's true.
Artosis notices things after the fact, Tasteless. Based on the presumption that Stats is genius at the game.
Oh, here we go. It's coming through. And unfortunately, even though he was forced to Cyclone out, the Cyclone still zones the Oracle out.
Yep.
Oh my God, not again.
No way.
God.
No way.
Oh my God.
There was like a millisecond there of that.
That was so close.
Oh.
Second Oracle coming in now. He has chased out Oracle number 1.
Yeah.
Only losing shields, really.
Now, is there a Widow Mine up here now? Did he? No, there's only one Widow Mine.
Yeah.
So by having everything chase him, this Oracle gets free kills.
You gonna get that one SCV?
Yeah.
There's one injured one. There he is. For good measure, takes that one out.
5, 6, 7 kills. This is actually a big Oracle.
And he's
right
not
now.
actually gone back to try to protect it.
Okay.
He's actually just setting everything over here.
Now
he's just pushing and trying to take out the third.
This counter push from Ryung will cancel the third base like 100%, I would say. Right? Because it's like 2 Oracles have been made. There's not that many ground units. You can just sit here, do your bunker thing. But losing 11 SCVs, I like Stats' position, to be honest.
I agree. I would be fine losing this.
Yeah.
Is he going to try to fight it anyways? I'm kind of curious about this. Wow.
Oh, that was a good
really
split.
good control. He pulled that one out.
Yeah. And he is trying to keep it. Oh my God, he keeps it. I thought for sure he'd kill that.
Well, Phoenixes can make miracles happen.
Yeah, they can.
So, with just the Oracle out here, he can kill off a lot of these Marines before that critical damage. Oh my God!
What am I even watching here? Stats, how good are you?
I don't understand the world anymore. Look at this.
A normal Protoss player loses that third base, doesn't chase down those units as well. Like, jeez.
No, it's fine. I got Phoenixes. Watch this. Oracles too. This is getting bad. He's got to push in there, man.
It's okay. Ryung has the counter Reaper going on.
He has a Reaper killing stuff.
Hey, 4 kills.
If this
Not
game
bad.
goes on for 100 years, he might win. So, okay, now he's actually pushing it. I hope we can get a shot of this expansion. All right, I don't think I mean, that's not like necessarily enough. He did not get the Phoenix over there to pick up and take that out. He's still...
What?
He's still doing damage.
Okay, mines are refreshing though now. Everything's going to start to get cleaned at least. Okay, here comes this mine.
Okay.
Do you see how on top of this is? He knows to the millisecond when that mine is refreshing.
Yeah. Now, worker count right now is 30 to 51. So, obviously, with Stats producing on 3 Nexuses, even though he's losing workers, he's still producing them at a pretty impressive rate.
That Reaper killed 8 probes.
That Reaper is, in fact, a serial killer.
Probes. It just died at 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the game after killing 8 probes. That is a wild Reaper. Beyond is jealous of this Reaper.
Oh, good catch. Both these guys, it seems like, even though Ryung is doing a good job, he's starting to hemorrhage units on the map. And he's killing workers. This may play into the narrative that we've had so far in the series where Ryung's harass is really good. But in the end, Stats has a better army.
Yeah, I think
and
you're
for
right.
all the Harlem Globetrotter stuff that we see here from Ryung, eventually Stats just goes across the map and punches him in the face and kills him.
I think that is an astute observation, Tasteless. Like, you look at what Ryung has right now, and sure, he's done some damage, but Stats has deflected everything more than well enough. And, like, look at that. 2 Oracles, 5 Phoenixes, more on the way, Glaives and +1 finishing, and Robo, 5 more gates. Like, Stats has a huge advantage.
And with that air army alone, as scrappy as the Protoss ground army might be, you can win most fights if you have the right pickups and know how to activate those oracles and tag properly.
If you're only fighting against Marines, then your depths are just going to crush. And the air army will force that to be the case. And he's going to keep complete tabs on Ryung. Ryung can't even do anything really sneaky. Like, this is the last sneaky move he's going to have. Is this
Ryung can't go out. Ryung is actually grounded, man.
He is grounded.
Yeah.
That's true. Woo.
Okay. Again, the fact that was hit is not even necessarily that good there for him because he's going to hunt that down and take it out. I would actually be fine with my Phoenix taking a bunch of damage to have guaranteed mine removal. Somehow this Widow Mine, I don't know where this Widow Mine came from.
Yeah.
I don't.
These Widow Mines are non-stop.
Now, keep in mind, it's the same thing, though. He's killing workers, but then he's, in the long run, losing mines. Like, he's losing army as he does this.
Yeah.
And, to get 1 mine in there and kill 1 probe, that is not pay for itself. That is not like, okay, good, that did what it was supposed to do.
Now, look at this. This is a very interesting thing that Ryung is doing. He's getting a Ghost Academy.
Yeah.
This is super duper early for Ghost Academy.
That's right.
I do wonder, I think I know what his plan is here. I think he's going to do 1 all-in push and try to EMP the Air Force.
Okay.
If you have your mines sitting and stuff, yeah, like everything will die in 2 seconds. You EMP those, no lifts or anything.
Well,
so
he's going to have to make that push work because we're getting to the point of no return. It's actually Protoss taking a 4th base while Terran is still turtled up on 2. Oop. Okay, good tag there. As long as this army is tagged, guys, it's not really feasible for the medevacs to ever pick up the army and move out on the map because the Phoenixes will just hunt it down and kill it.
Yeah, you have to leave from the front door, really, and, I mean, that's going to take a lot of time. You have to have a big army that can fight Stats' army, which right now isn't the case.
See how he picked up there? He knew that if he left that there and the mine connected, he would just end up... Oh, no, this is cute. He's going to use the medevac as bait. He's going to use it as bait.
Oh! Sick move right there.
That was really smart. This is what I think makes Ryung so different from these other Terran players we see, is the tactical just intelligence of it. But hold up.
The second he moves out,
yep.
Here's Stats.
That's what Stats is waiting for. He was waiting for him to leave.
Yeah, the big warp in, dealing some damage. He doesn't get too much. Oh, wow. Actually, some great Widow Mine hits go off, so that's nice. Maybe he'll be able to clean this. He's only lost 4 SCVs. That's not so bad.
Yeah, the SCVs are still over there. The push from the high ground now. Good Liberation Zone setup. Widow Mines are burrowing.
Ooh, picks off one of those Liberators. That one was sieged a little bit too far forward. The bio not quite ready for it. How do you make this work right now as Ryung, this push? His army's too small.
I think he has to go back. Now, the problem is that, for all the cool plays we're seeing from Ryung, he's not killing expansions.
Yes.
It's just not enough.
Like, okay, the thing is his technicality keeps getting higher and higher. 2 Colossus just started with range, so that's a lot of money invested, which means as this round of units comes out for Ryung, I believe this is his best shot to win this game, is like right now, basically.
Yeah. He's going to have a really good timing attack. The ghosts are out. He needs these EMPs to connect and be perfect. And as Artosis was saying, it probably needs to hit the air army. Okay, more tagging, though. And the thing is, there's nothing that makes it necessary for Stats to fight this. He might do it anyways, but he doesn't have to. Because Stats is taking a 4th base while Terran's on 2.
Yeah, so and he's about to have Colossus as well.
Yeah, I mean, Stats just has to stay in the game for another 3 or 4 more minutes, and I think it'll be at the point of no return.
Stats still continuing to try to harass a little bit. Picks
oh my God, it's going to get away.
4 depths somehow.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
He's going to warp in Stalkers and somehow save that.
Kills that off, and the Viking chasing
comes
him.
Back in and kills more SCVs. I'm like, my God, man.
This army for Stats is getting really, really scary. It's about to be 4 bases against 2. In fact, it already is. He's mining from that 4th base. He's getting all the rest of his tech. He's going to have Blink, better upgrades, Dark Shrine on the way.
Yeah, and with Dark Shrine up here, that's just going to make it much worse for Terran to be on the map. As you can see, he does shoot down some EMPs. Protoss continues to tag the army to monitor it. He can track the movements, and whenever a Terran unsieges Liberators, whenever they push forward, Protoss will move in and attack, and as they siege up the Liberation Zones, he runs back again to try to buy time. Hold on, here we have the big attack coming in here, right now. The Colossi splash damage doing so much damage to this infantry, and there are too many Adepts, too many Stalkers, too many everything. Protoss and GG! Stats is up 3-1, making him 1 win away from moving on to the finals of the GSL Code S. Ryung is playing an amazing series so far, but he is not producing the results that get him the wins.
I think Ryung going to be knocking down just about every Protoss in the world right now, aside from this man, Stats, who is playing so phenomenally. He just gets in for damage, like draws everything away. The Oracle is like, oh, look at that, you made a mistake. 11 SCVs dead. Oh, you moved out finally? Here comes a big warp in of Adepts, keeping you busy. Tags the army relentlessly throughout the series. I am just in shock at how well Stats is playing tonight.
Stats is playing the PvTs of his life. And I gotta say, it's so impressive that when you see the tactics from Ryung, it does so much damage. For instance, when he had the 2 Widow Mines burrowed underneath the medevac, to basically bait in the air army. All this stuff is good, and it's like, it's so impressive it should go in a highlight reel of its own. However, the way that Stats is playing is so much better than what Ryung has. And he's also allowing Ryung to play into Ryung's strengths and exploiting it.
Yeah.
Ryung is doing a great job of interrupting mining. He's killing a lot of workers, but he's not killing the army. So in the long run, Widow Mines are picked up eventually and killed off. medevacs are gunned down, and these small infantry armies are cleaned up. And after that, you can't get an expansion. We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to go to game number 5 here with Stats versus Ryung.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
그 제 아이디를 추가를 하면은 제가 나와요. 사연 주세요. 씨가 넌 이미 늦어버렸어. 늦어버린 것 같다. 사람이 굉장히 좋아 보이나 봐요. 미안하지. 야, 니 용기를 좀 가지고 먼저 고백을 해봐라. 온 과에 붙인다. 뭉청아. 오빠야. 그기 애면 너는 그의 촉촉한 목소리에.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
양이놈 장난이 없다 근데 진짜. 땅땅치기 신제품 매콤 찹스를 지금 탱탱이하고 먹어보도록 하겠습니다. 먹어볼게요. 하면서 겉은 바삭하면서 매콤하면서 약간 맛있는 매운맛? 맵다가 아니고 매콤이에요 진짜로. 열심히 입 털고 맛있는 데 순간 나는 파북이다. 매콤 찹스 네, 사랑해주세요.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
아 진짜 오늘 어떻게 되든 나 헌팅한다. 아무나 친구를 누르는 거야. 뭐 유혹을 해봅시다. 24시간 뒤에는 이 사람이 못 봐요. 셋, 히. 바랑 합방할래? 이야. 새로운 인연을 만드는 거에 중점을 둬야 됩니다. 아, 남자는 안 돼. 빵야. 누구나 보면 반할 수밖에 없을 겁니다. 저도 또 같이 소개팅 같이 나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
stop till we've woken up and we see the corrupt and let them know that we've had enough. If each one is the mind that we speak from, it'll lead to your freedom and the keys to the kingdom. Bang the drum till the crowd is dumb. We leave as one, shining like the only sun. I cut the cord, put down my sword. Peace not war, for overlords abuse the force. We're not stepping stones, stepping stones. We won't stop, we won't stop.
We are back here at the GSL Codas. So far, Stats has been dominating, but in very close games. Ryung is exhibiting some of the best Terran tactics we've ever seen. However, he's constantly overextending. He's constantly hemorrhaging units, and in the long run, Stats just manages to crush through.
All of Stats' counter-harassment is just the best that we've ever seen, basically. Every game, this guy is bringing Protoss to a new level. It's amazing to behold. Can Ryung actually fight back? It seems impossible right now, but I would say strategically, like, he's playing as well as you can really play. Like, this is some TY level tactics and strategy that's bringing out.
I'd almost say it's above.
Maybe.
I mean, the braininess of the tactics is good. I think the question you have to ask is not how good is the idea behind the tactic, but how well is it really executed? Because you could be, you know, as brainy as you want with some of this stuff, and if you're just eventually losing all these mines and medevacs and everything, eventually Stats is going to be bigger. Yeah. And when it comes to endgame, generally a guy, as long as he can position it right with a bigger army, is going to win.
All right, Tasteless Proxima Station. This could be where Stats goes to the finals, where Ryung starts to make his comeback.
It's time to see if Ryung can bounce back from the series. He has to win the next 3 games in a row against a player Stats, the best Protoss in the world. Let's see what happens. In the bottom left, in the blue, he is
Splice Stats.
Looks like he's on a bouncy ball or something.
Yeah, he's pretty pumped. He wants that finals,
boom,
man.
Boom. In the upper right, in the red, he is
TES Gaming, Ryung.
What we don't tell you, because we don't do any big shots, is that he is riding a donkey the entire game.
All right, I can't imagine what it feels like to be Ryung right now. I mean, there's so much pressure on you. You know that you've been playing really well, but you know, when the fog settles, when the dust settles, there's Stats with way too many Adepts and Phoenixes and Colossi. I don't know if the answer is that Ryung plays a completely different game, or that he just tries to be a little bit more calculated when he comes in here with these attacks. Because the funny thing is, Stats is losing a lot of workers to this. I think if he just refined this playstyle, he could beat Stats.
Yeah.
3 times, I don't know.
Well, if you just make a turret ring, right, and it was just like so many turrets you can't get with the Prism, Stats would be like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to cover too much with too little.
Yeah.
And that's usually the way you play StarCraft, right?
Indeed.
You're kind of pushing the boundaries here, but I feel like if he just chilled out, Stats wouldn't have an opening. Now, in this game, and I think Stats is doing this not just because of the map, but because he's up right now 3-1. So he's making a proxied Stargate.
Yeah.
And he is going to fly in there with Oracles.
This is a big
that's
find.
a good scout.
That is a big,
Why is
big
a probe
find.
over there, Artosis? That's not where you put a probe. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I thought it was right up there. Sorry, wait. Let me try
finding
again.
this, like,
dun, dun, dun. All right.
This is a pretty common proxy location. But you can't really truly kill it. Like, it's so far away walking-wise from your actual base. So he's going going to back up for the time being. What he wants to do is prevent a pylon from being made.
That's right.
Because you always pylon rush with this. Now, will this be a Nexus coming up behind for stats, or will he go for a Void Ray all-in is the next thing Ryung has to figure out if he can stop this initial rush.
I would not be surprised if Void Rays got incorporated. Right now, the Reaper is trying to find the probe. The Adept is doing a very good job zoning that Reaper out so the probe cannot be assassinated while it's en route to the entrance here of Ryung's base. Oracle now being made. Pylon is set up.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get that overcharged as well. Should be pretty simple.
Okay, he answered it for me. I said, I think you want to fire at the reactor first. Getting the reactor is the most important thing.
Now, a few units here trying to stop this Oracle.
This is kind of crazy. He went for the 2 Marines.
Ooh,
Jesus, that shoots far. How many computer screens can that thing shoot from?
Quite a few, especially considering it chases you down.
Wow.
Okay, now Stats is starting to take this all down, but he hasn't done too much damage with the Oracle. A second Oracle on the way, but the eBay went up very fast, so missile turrets will be coming up, and this should be pretty much a hold.
Okay, Oracle coming in. I think that's the second one. Is it not? Yes,
that's
it
the
is.
second one.
All right.
And double lock on. That's a ton of damage, man. Okay, flies behind that vision blocker. The other Oracle cleans up the SCV at the natural. Everything is defended pretty well for Ryung right now, but there's a Void Ray on the way.
Yeah.
Void Ray's really powerful here.
The rush is beginning to slow down. Great control here by the Cyclones for Ryung. These Oracles will be kept back here. They can one-shot SCVs when paired together. Now the Nexus is coming up here, and it looks like things are starting to slow down, but you know, you got to wait and see where these mines connect. This can go either way still.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Almost gets a shot off onto those. The Void Ray just sitting there. More Void Rays on the way, so it does look like he wants to follow this up with a massive Void Ray attack. Probably a lot of Gateway units mixed in there as well. Just the Void Rays themselves, though, can be very tough to kill. Like, these things, they kill Marines early on, and they kill everything else Terran has early on, so can be very tough. Void Ray just kind of walking around.
Now he's got to be careful with this. There's a lot of gas invested in this army. Okay, that was bold. Like, you're crazy for trying to get that reactor. Like, that was never going to happen, Stats.
A little bit wild, and with the Viking gets pushed back completely. Second Void Ray is out. That might be the end of what he produces out of there, though. I don't know that he's going to actually find damage.
So, guys, you got to remember there's an inevitability that Terran is going to wipe out the Stargate. So you try to eke out as much with it and maintain the pressure, because it's not the end of the world, but you'll lose that tech at least temporarily. And, of course, in a matchup where Adept Phoenix is quite strong, that's something you want to factor in. Now, he can come in here and try to get this mine. Not yet, though. Cyclone's coming up. Oh!
Ooh, nice pushback there. The Marines kind of buffering everything. The Void Rays can't quite fight. If you micro your Vikings right, you can kite these reasonably well. Picks off the first one.
Yeah, there's actually nothing he can do if he just controls this right.
Yep. This is really a good hold by Ryung overall. He ended up losing a little bit to the harassment, but at the end of the day, this wasn't really that bad.
Yeah, unfortunately that Viking and these Oracles, they can't fly like up into another map. So they will have to hug the top of the screen as this Viking zones them out.
If they were a Viking, maybe they could land on that planet, but
yeah,
you know,
that'd be a long drop down.
Such is not the case.
That planet looks like the background for the Intel Extreme Masters thing
my
too.
Gosh.
Man, maybe that's back down there in Poland. It's on Earth.
You got to watch out. I almost got hit by that laser when I was at the casting desk, man. That was crazy.
Okay, so things are starting to calm down. Now, Note Stats is trying to pump out some Phoenixes and just eke out as much utility from this as possible, and it gets away. Wow, 6 HP.
6
Damn.
Things like that just keep happening for Stats so far in this series. Wow, the SCV had come out to make a third base, gets picked off, so that delays the third there
this
for
is where
Ryung.
We're going to find out that all of Stats' units have exactly 6 HP more than a normal Protoss unit, Artosis.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing day that would be for Stats.
Oh my God. Boom.
Sick pick off there with the Widow Mine in the middle of the map.
Okay, so Ryung's actually doing a really good job.
Yeah, he is. Look at that, the SCV count. When you are that close to the probe count, you're in good shape as Terran. And he has a bigger army right now. He has more technicality to his army. Like this, notice how Stats isn't going for, he didn't get Glaives, right? Like, I think he went right into Blink instead of going Glaives at all. And this would make sense to me because if you don't have the Phoenix to go with it, you can't stop any drops.
Yeah, I know. I think
so. The Blink
correct.
makes more sense.
You have to be completely well, especially against Ryung, right? I mean, we've seen how he's played every time in the series so far. I mean, he's really, really aggro with these drops. So right now he's got Phoenix, I should say, set up.
Yeah.
He's going to have to remake that Stargate tech. In fact, I think he's just going to skip out on that. This is going to be one of the first games where we have stats not with his normal unit comp.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the Phoenixes are probably Stats' biggest asset.
I definitely would agree with you. That's what's been beating Ryung more than anything is the Air Army. But this game, the Air Army did very little against him. He's forced into a much more normal composition, quote unquote. But to be fair, I would say most of the practice for Ryung was probably against Adept Phoenix anyways. So we'll see how he does against this. The very fast Blink and the Robo coming up probably for Colossus.
So we do have Ryung's drops coming in now. Now, I would say that the position here for Stats is not bad. That doesn't mean that Ryung can't do a lot of damage, but it seems like he should be... Oh, my God. He just kind of saw it and went around. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, avoiding everything he can. A couple pylons on the edge of the base. Probably
and see, guys, you could do this if they don't have Mass Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's why this movement is starting to look a little bit different. He's kind of like testing the waters, taking a peek here, going, no, I don't want to drop over here.
He can basically get away from everything. Like, if you get too close, Blink can get you, but he's not too worried about that at the moment. Probably doesn't even know that Blink is there, but wouldn't surprise him. By the way, Liberator range is going to be coming up very quickly here. This is a super fast Liberator range.
Stargate tech was eliminated here.
That's that's so true.
So I mean, why would you not get that? Because then there's like actually nothing Protoss can do.
And if you've ever seen one unupgraded Phoenix try to kill off sieged Liberators, then you've seen a Protoss that isn't mining for minutes.
Yes. He's coming up now. Now, you got to be careful. Again, we don't want to see Ryung on the map too much with armies that could be picked off. I mean, Blink is done. Oh! Reinforcements get there in the blink of an eye, and now they're in pursuit here of Stats' army.
Okay, starting to try to pick off anything he can as it runs away. Runs away from those force fields as well. Just a little bit of a to and fro in the middle of the map here.
Kind of afterthought force fields there.
You know, this is one place where I'm a little bit nervous for Ryung. If you're going for Liberator range this quickly and you're making 3 Liberators at a time, it means that your ground army, by definition, is weaker than Protoss's.
Yeah,
so if he overextends and loses too much, that's where he can end up absolutely losing this game.
The War Prism's coming up now. However, Liberator is going to be headed southbound. And with Liberation Zone set up, hold up, it's going to go down!
Sick. Nice. Really great move there by Ryung. That's like so important. That's how Stats has been winning these games. Is the Air Army and those prisms getting in with the Adepts and
I mean basically, you could if you just killed all of the War Prisms that Stats ever made, you would not lose to him. I think as Ryung.
Yeah, not
not
the way that we've seen.
The War Prism for Stats is like the defense can opener here against Ryung, where he just cracks that open and then everything starts to fall apart because Ryung's defense is so it's not airtight, but it's really dependent on the symbiosis of the positioning of everything else around it. Oh my God! You need to pull those out. That was close.
Wow, he actually picks off a Liberator and oh no, he didn't get the Widowmine, but still a very good move right there.
Okay, now these shades are probably going to be canceled here. I don't believe he's going to let these finish.
Huh. Yeah, the Colossus starting to increment out. He is making a Stargate, so I think he realizes the fact that he's going to have a hard time removing these Liberators with range when they do start to harass him at least.
Okay, so the Liberators are leapfrogging forward. There's actually not a lot of room here for Protoss to move, by the way. There's an Adept counterattack coming up here, and good pickup there to block that out.
Yeah.
That was very important. Dude, this slow push is actually becoming hugely problematic. He's going to be able to cut off circulation from the 4th base and then the 3rd. And the Colossi is stuck down here. It's just one Colossi. Those pylons are not going to have charge forever.
Okay, finally, Stats is going to get in and get some damage done over on Ryung's side of the map. A nice shade in to kill off some of these SCVs. Looks like he wants to drop the back natural as well. Oh, or maybe not. Oh. Thought that mine was going to connect.
He's still coming up here right now. There's not that much here to clean this up. Then again, he's not destroyed these expansions. I mean, having to push is one thing. You need to actually kill the Protoss's base. Right now, Stats is just buying time. Nice force field shaves off some of that army. 22 SCVs have been picked off, Artosis.
Wow, that is a huge amount of damage on the other side. In fact, he sent through all the rest of his Adepts. He shaded them through. They can catch any reinforcements and maybe do some more damage over at Ryung's base, while Stats continues to just try to hold on and eventually have enough to break through this huge push from Ryung.
Okay, the depot is taking more damage here. Looks like it's going to eventually be picked off. It's kind of inconsequential, but he's going to shade forward with the rest of these Adepts. and try to come in here and do that critical amount of damage. Meanwhile, the push is continuing.
Oh, a Prism trying to get out right now. He actually doesn't chase it down. So that Prism is going to give the potential for Stats to do a lot more damage over on Ryung's side of the map. Ryung doesn't have a lot of SCVs left over. What he does have is a stronger army pushing down the front door of Stats.
It's the same story again. Only in reverse this time, where it's actually the Terran army that is so big. The question for Protoss is, how do you actually break that? This time around, Stats going for all this harass, but it's just not going to be enough. And look, first of all, the base in the upper, or I should say center left, is exposed. Okay? Protoss can't really leave with the Robotech, right? Unless he gets Warp Prisms to ferry this out here. And this army up at the top is basically isolated.
Yeah, he has to back up towards that fourth base. Now, where does Ryung go? Is he going to push in too many directions at once? Will he split up and allow for Stats to find a way to break his army? Because if Ryung loses that front army, he's still going to lose.
He's coming in now, blinking away.
Oh, that's not enough units to hold on to this fourth base, but Stats has a Prism over in Ryung's base. Ryung rallying down all of his reinforcements to try to deal with that right now, but Stats will lose this fourth Nexus.
It is Stats on 2 bases, Ryung on 4, albeit way less workers as they're constantly being massacred by these Adepts. Uh-oh. Ryung's got to be very careful with his pushing army because this is the leverage he has on the map.
Yeah, I think
any units he hemorrhages off are going to be really problematic.
I think he wants to break those rocks down and save those units through the back hole there. You know, there's still like a healthy amount of probes, but as far as mining goes, there's almost none left. Look at this area, this little tiny choked up area that he's trying to maneuver through as well.
Well, he's keeping it boxed in. I believe the resources at the the backdoor natural should be almost expired.
Yeah, there shouldn't be hardly anything
So Stats is basically not mining. I mean, he's got a little bit incoming, but like not enough to be substantial. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's losing some of his units here.
Stats clean that up. This army's going inside the main. Time Warp comes up.
Oh my god, the Time Warp going to slow some of these units down. That was a great force field as well. Yeah. The Blink 4 are going to pick off so many of these units, but that is a great setup of Liberators. How do you break this ramp?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess he has to try to blink on top of it. He comes in. The Colossi doing a lot of damage to these Marines. The Liberators are still gunning down all of these Stalkers.
Oh my god.
He cleans it up. That was sick. That was sick. Okay, he needs to counter. He needs to get over there now.
He's going across the map, I'm sure, no doubt about it.
Look at the minerals.
Stats is really not mining right now.
He's mining from one patch. What, 185, 195. Okay, so he's barely mining.
Yeah, just barely
mining. This gold base is completely exposed. There's nothing really to defend. It's not even a planetary. But I don't think that Stats realizes the gold base has been taken, and he's actually making this job a little bit harder for himself here.
He has no idea. He thinks maybe there is some way to break through, but as he shades forward and sees what's up there, I think he's starting to lose a little bit of hope. Oh, okay, his observer spots it, but a planetary is almost done.
It's like we say each other's thoughts at the exact same time. I think Stats might have lost. I don't believe he can recuperate from this. He's not remaking a Nexus. And I think all Ryung has to do is basically stay alive.
He's like long-distance mining right now. His income is a third of what Ryung's is at the moment. Finally restarts a Nexus, but his army is so small that eventually Ryung will macro up to a point where he can just walk out and kill Stats.
Also, Stalkers, 2 Adepts, and 2 Sentries is not a scary army. Not for this. No. Oh my god.
Well, especially
I think that's
not now.
it. GG. Ryung is beginning the comeback. Wow. Nicely done.
Great defense in the early game, scouting out that probe so quickly now, and defending against that early Void Ray and Oracle pressure.
Now hold the phone, guys. Hold up. Let's remember that was a very unique game. That was a proxied Stargate that Ryung deflected and then annihilated that tech from the tree. So Stats was not with his standard unit comp of a handful of Phoenixes with Oracles. He had some air units, but that was mostly there to help assist the rush, not to try to help prolong the game. So I don't think we're going to see another proxy Stargate from Stats. I think he discards that build.
I agree with you.
Into Game 6.
I agree with you there, and our next map is going to be Daybreak. Okay, so this is a very droppable map. I think Adept Phoenix is absolutely in order here for Stats.
I agree.
And it has been killing Ryung overall. So how does Ryung actually counter that on this map? How does he make sure that he's not taking the damage damage from those Adepts? How is he making sure that the Oracles and Phoenixes aren't keeping tabs on him nonstop?
Well, Stats is probably already aware of his errors. Ryung, at the same time, probably realizes that Stargate play really played into his strengths. What exactly did they do here in game number 6? Keep in mind, Ryung is not cheese. He's played very traditional aggro TVP. Stats is really the one that's trying to bend the rules and then react later on. Guys, game number 6 is ready. So tell your friends to join us. We are now going to see if this is going to be tied up and move on into our final game, Game 7, or if Stats can close this out now and move on to the finals. In the upper right, in the blue.
Splice Stats.
On that bouncy ball. In the bottom left, in the red.
TES Gaming, Ryung.
This has been such a display of skill out of Ryung, someone we never think about when we think about this matchup, Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah.
We think about TVT, and then actually second, I would say we think about TVZ because he has a very unique mech-based style. He loves things like Speed Banshees late game. So for him to show that he's of this level right now against Stats, like see the score right now, 3-2? That's what Stats did to beat Innovation. Innovation, who we think about for every matchup because he's the god tier Terran player. So, I mean, astounding play from Ryung, no matter what happens in this game.
Okay, so I don't think we're going to have a proxy, like I said, but now as I'm saying that, this probe is headed southbound.
Yeah, this could be for a proxy.
That's not a start. What? Really?
Yeah, you just want
it's just
a proxy Stargate after Nexus.
Yeah, no, this is nowhere near as bold. However, it still does come with some of the same burdens of you could lose that tech. And by the way, that's rallied. The Reapers rallied to check there. Terran Tears. Go Stats. To some stat support. I know that this is not the same build, okay, because he's getting that Nexus. I got to say I'm a little bit surprised. I just feel like so much of that game was dependent on the Stargate not being around in mid-game. But let's see.
I like what you're saying about that because if he kills a Stargate and you only have like a Phoenix again, Stats has been crushing because of his Phoenix Adept play.
Yeah,
like that's really been his linchpin.
Now that being said, it's possible that the mind games are getting so out of control here that Ryung has factored this possibility out in his mind because of how dominant he was in the previous game.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, this Oracle comes out so quickly here. It's just going to be in that main base before Ryung really is expecting it. So there's always the possibility that he gets some damage done with it. And if you get 4 or 5 SCVs, you're way ahead.
Okay, so the Widow Mine is down here. Very important we keep track of Widow Mines, especially in this series.
Well, this Oracle is going to be getting there before a Widow Mine is the second one's out, right? If you make in your main base, that's not the case.
I believe you get 2 when you do this, right? Yep, there's a second one being made. Oh, he's actually going to save the probe. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good save. He definitely needs to get that very, very quickly. Oh, God.
Okay, here we go. Widow Mine is not yet burrowed. And he's
and he kills
almost
it.
misclicked. Almost misclicked there.
That is so big, and now there's not even enough Marines to stop this. This is looking bad. Okay, the medevac comes out, so we'll eventually push this back.
6 kills. Very nicely done.
6 kills and a Widow Mine. And a second Oracle is about to pop out. This is really great right now for Stats.
He's also making Phoenixes behind us. And again, as long as that Stargate's up, then that tech is still a real threat here. Okay, zaps another worker. A bit of a trade there considering the HP that was lost on the Oracle, but I mean, as long as the Oracle's alive, it's kind of okay.
Yeah. Looks like the Widowmine hiding in a great location right there. Hard to see that one.
Yeah.
Especially with the mule on that patch.
Yeah, there's so many mind games going on here to try to identify this. It reminds me back in StarCraft 1, we'd see these techniques where people would float the engineering bay, because the engineering bay could float in that matchup, and you'd float it over a turret, so when the shuttle would come in with the Reaver, it would just get shot down because you just didn't see it initially.
This is basically that same type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool to see Ryung do that, especially since he has a mule there. It's like, if he can get these oracles, that gives him a little bit of, an advantage in that way at least. But he's taken enough damage so far that I think that Stats is pretty happy with where he's at.
Some more warp-ins coming in. Right now, Stats is just plain safe. I mean, Terran is effectively pinned here with the 2 oracles. Of course, there is a degree of risk whenever you're doing this style of play of just running into mines and then giving up that pin position. So these oracles may be used simply to tag and monitor the army, as Protoss is probably hungry to play a reactionary game from here on out.
Okay, Blink is going to be the order of the day once again, and this particular build that we're seeing is actually something Deer did.
Hold up.
League, so it's like pretty cool.
Oh my God!
Oh God! Oh, good connection right there.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about.
That's pretty awesome. Now, the build that Stats is going for, right? Like, he skipped the Phoenixes because this was a proxy Stargate, getting into that Blink a bit quicker. And this is like a cool way to play it, but he's having to remake this Oracle.
Yeah.
Is he going to lose that Stargate before, though?
I think he is.
Yeah, he might.
I don't think there's any way for Protoss to punish what's happened here.
No.
Dude, you got to be conservative with those Oracles, especially in a series like this. Is so important for Stats.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to lose a Stargate, guys. And he's probably going to kill this pylon before the Oracle can come out. So this is just really bad. Now, the fact that 2 Oracles were killed off means detection is going to be really problematic. And Protoss is actually going to try to come down here and reclaim this.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually surprised he pulled away.
Okay, I guess
never
with the rest of the
mind.
units
All right, I was going to say, like...
He just gave Stats the benefit of the doubt. Like, he never actually saw those sentries. There could have been nothing behind there. We could have just seen an inferior force chase away a superior force.
Okay, now there's Widow Mines coming up here. Keep in mind, the Robo is not done yet. So any detection here is huge.
Couldn't quite run in there. Stats saw him incoming.
Now, because there's nothing to tag the army here, Ryung has got a really interesting timing window where it's lights out for Protoss, and he can actually move around the map undetected. And really, if Stats screws up here, he's going to be punished. However, there it is. He's unloading here, and this is not a fight that Terran wanted to have. Oh, man, this is so bad for Ryung. And the drop was deflected. Now the mines are coming in. Is Stats going to be able to pull probes in time? He's not!
Okay, that's a lot of probes that he ended up getting, so that's nice. That will be cleaned up, though, as he has an observer on the way. But losing those other medevacs is really a tough pill to swallow.
It truly is. Again, Ryung is hemorrhaging parts of his army. The observers are out, but they're going to be here to spot these mines. It's possible Ryung tries to attack in. Again, I just... Oh, my God.
Ooh, that could have been worse.
Split-second reaction there to drag 1 probe into that. He could have lost all 6. He wasn't more careful.
Okay, is going to pick off all these Widow Mines now. The damage up there is finally completed.
Sneaky Widow Mine. They'll never find me here. Okay.
The only possible follow-up right there.
That's right. So, Stats has reclaimed map domination due to the medevacs being eliminated on the map. I think you can't really blame Ryung for trying to do that, but Stats was pretty ready, and I got to say that was a very tough position for Protoss. And he took care of it quite easily. It's now 131 supply to 120. So Stats with a minor lead. Although I do think there's a lot of push potential here. This is a pretty beefy army.
He's got 1-1 finish as well. Glaive's just finished up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It is a powerful set of units, no doubt about that. Some Larrys come up and set up. There's quite a few Widow Mines in here, so those can help out a lot as well. Looks like he'll be able to push this back.
That Liberator.
Yeah,
he's
seriously.
Just like, what is the HP on that Liberator to the right? I guess we're not going to get a shot of that, but
it's low.
I want to say it was in the red.
Yeah,
it seemed like he misclicked not only once but twice. He blinked forward and then clicked on a Marine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could have gone a lot better, and that means that now the army has been much more softened up here for Stats.
Look, you compare what we just saw right there to game number 2 on Echo, where he just killed Ryung out of nowhere, and I got to say, I feel like could it? Oh my God! He loses another Oracle. that's a pretty big deal. But could it be possible that Stats is starting to feel a little bit of pressure? He's so close to going to this first GSL Finals.
Yeah, I feel like Stats is trying to do what he did in Game 2, and it's just not happening. Ryung is just not having any of it.
No.
And now this is like a lot of adepts that are being picked off here. Yeah, he's just losing a lot of units all over the place.
Okay, the fourth base for Stats incoming, going for Colossus Tech as well. Obviously a great transition here.
I think that the counter push here from Ryung, which should be coming very soon here, as long as he can keep his eyes on that Warp Prism, I think the counter push could end the game, and Ryung could win.
Does Ryung go into Vikings though? Because we have 2 Colossus already out, and by the time he gets there, there'll be 4 no matter what.
Okay, he's coming up. I'm not sure what he's doing, man. Again, he's like hitting that depot. He's losing 2 stalkers back there. And now he's attacking with these adepts.
Yeah, he's like not actually doing any damage with those adepts.
Oh my god, we might be going to the game. This is, by the way, the most missed game here of Stats. I think fatigue is starting to set in. You got to remember how exhausting a best of 7 is when you're playing.
And he's put out some of the highest level Protoss games that we've ever seen tonight. But this one, it's like every move he's trying isn't working. And I'm sure part of this is like stress. Maybe it's just, you know, a little bit of bad luck the way he's clicking around. But Ryung obviously is a very smart player. He's starting to figure out everything. He's, you know, some of it you have to put on him as well, right?
Absolutely.
This is not just Stats like throwing a game or something. Ryung is playing a fantastic series.
I think the play here from Ryung is quite textbook. I think you just push out.
Okay, he's throwing down a fusion core on 3 bases once again. Now, it's so fast to get it in that situation. Oh my god, are you kidding? How many units have we seen that are 1 shot from dying?
I know.
Live
it's
for
because
Stats
all
tonight?
of Stats' units have 6 extra HP.
Yeah, it's like 1 Marine hit more.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, that's a lot of
that's bad. That's bad. Those are units that are not traded but lost.
Yeah.
Stats once again going to try to come out.
2 prisms on the way, so Stats getting ready to go ham right now.
Well, he doesn't want Terran to take a 4th base. He's got his own 4th. Yeah. He's got map control. I think Ryung's defense has been good, but the big looming question is how does Ryung get out of the map?
Okay, well, it's Daybreak, so you can cut it off once you take your 4th base, and the fact that he's going for another starport and he's got Liberator range, I think that he just has to go for an extremely long game.
You might be right.
Like, you can't just get Liberator range to go kill your opponent when they have 4 Colossus, because they'll just rotate around and hit you all the time, like Stats did in Game 1 on Abyssal Reef.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that Ryung, he has to kind of make sure that he's not taking too much damage from any Stats harass and get into that supreme late game composition. You know, he's got to get ghosts. Maybe the thing is, the Colossus are going to be a problem.
Spotted and denied. The risk is so high once those medevacs get on the map, if Protoss knows. I mean, Stats, I think, is playing this correctly. He just says, okay, just try to take a 4th base. Just figure it out. Stats doesn't have to do much of anything. He's got multiple pins set up here, a few adepts out on the map. He has those 2 Warp Prisms you were talking about, Artosis. I think the other one is up there at the north. He has Dark Templars that can come into play. He's making cannons, if you notice by the production tab, so that if there is a drop, it's probably not going to do anywhere near as much damage.
And those can help out as well when your opponent has a Ghost base and Liberator base comp pushing at you.
And he also has not taken a 5th base here. So
it's going into Tempest Tech as well to deal with these Liberators, realizing that the real way that he loses this is a perfectly positional game out of Ryung with those Liberators. But once you have Tempest, you know, in a game like this, that can counter it. You just have to play it kind of slow as Protoss, because when you're putting that money into those air units, your army has a little bit less beef.
Okay, Terran is now moving out, finally. Looks like he might be throwing some Marines away on purpose to try to free up some more supply to get some more technical units here. He got the 4th. Stats did not bite. And I don't know if this was a misplay here by Stats, because it seems almost like he was doing things on the map and suddenly Terran set this up. But we'll see if he tries to punish.
Yeah, he's going to break through the middle here. He has a prism at the top. He has a prism at the bottom. Stats is kind of spread out everywhere, but Daybreak, as mentioned previously, is a map where you can divide it up once you take this 4th. You control that middle area. There's only a few paths that Protoss can come down, and you can get set up for that, especially with this 6 sensor tower.
Okay, a few adepts come in. He surveyed how much is there. Yeah, man, you're right. That sensor tower is so good.
It covers everything. There's like only 1 small area at the top that maybe some adepts can get in, and that's it.
So there's Liberation Zone set up. Terran's pushing. Hold up.
Ooh, he's got to be careful about that.
I don't know if he wants to push or not. This is kind of tricky.
Yeah, it really is.
This is one of these moments where it's not really ideal for either player to try to push. One Tempest does come out before.
He's making him out of that Stargate. I didn't notice that.
So funny.
That is so funny.
All right, we finally get to see it, Artosis. One Phoenix trying to kill a Liberator. It's going to take a very long time, but he will eventually get it.
Okay, more starports on the way right now. I like that he's adding in some Vikings and getting more starports as well. I think that this is a really important moment because it is those Colossus that he needs to deal with. The Colossus will shave away such small bioforces. When you're going for so many high-level tech units, you don't have a lot of bio. But the bio has to stay alive or the Liberators will all die.
Second Liberator to actually miss his army. Whoa, whoa, whoa. TY is pushing in. That was a lot of kills there. He took out about 15 supply.
That's funny. Oh, man. Trying to get in with this Prism has that speed now as well. DT Blink on the way. These guys are going for absolutely everything.
We're going to get into that Supreme late game.
Yeah, we're going to get into that kitchen sink tech in a moment here.
Terran now taking the upper left. Protoss seems to be hesitant to do anything too drastic on the map.
Owned.
Wrecked.
That anti-prism ghost tech. It's like the Hydras that you always see around for Zerg.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he scans. He already knows the Tempest tech is coming up here because of that one that he killed off, the Stargate pylon that he took out earlier when the Tempest just came out.
Oh, look at Ryung back up a little bit. Like, as Stats goes forward, in fact, Stats runs. Ryung wants very badly for Stats to attack his planetary because that's where he can get in and really get that damage done. Like, destroy the army.
Looks like that gets out. Scan comes down here. More adept starting to do damage. This could be the point in time where Ryung has to run around scrambling to defend, and then all this damage coming out from different areas from Stats could start to do just a huge impact on this game.
Okay, so he's cleaning this pretty well, to be honest. He's losing a few units here and there, but his ghosts make quick work of everything. Stats still not really finding any damage on his opponent here. But, oh, look at this. With an Oracle to tag and this many Tempests, as well as Colossus backing them up, Stats' cost efficiency is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, that's very true. By the way, these tags on this army are so good. He's tagging literally every unit in the group. So it's very hard for Ryung to try to surprise Stats.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, with the defense that Ryung has set up, it's very hard for Stats to try to actually get in there and do any real impactful damage. And you got to remember, if this map does get cut in half and it looks like this game is going in that direction, hemorrhaging units throughout the game, it might not seem like it's making a big impact until you start to mine out. You find out one guy has banked up way more minerals.
One thing I do need to mention,
yes,
Stats needs ASAP to add like 10 gateways. He only has 8 gates right now. If he loses his army, he cannot remax quick enough.
That's true.
Occasionally you'll have an army in a situation like this that you lose, and you can lose an army here as long as you can remax before your opponent can kill you.
By the way, we saw those probes go in there and try to attack. That's because he's trying to free up supply. There's a point in time where you suddenly say, I don't need this many workers or this, you know, these basic tier 1 units. I need to get rid of this stuff so I can have a more technical army. And you are completely right, Artosis. He certainly needs to get more gateways up here.
Like
because you need to be able to remake your army at the snap of a finger.
Yeah, like he may need to do a situation where he just needs a ton of warpins. Ooh, look at how on top he is of catching everything, by the way.
Wow, okay. Just going to go ahead and take out this last DT. That's another moment, though, guys, to have hemorrhaging units. Is he going to live?
He has Blink. Why do you get DT Blink and not use the stats? Break my heart.
Okay, now the push is coming. So he finally has as many Tempests, and this is where there's actually Protoss with a range advantage.
Yes.
Now you got to be careful because if the Terran army stims and runs under this, these Tempests can't get away in time.
Yeah, and like he has a lot of Vikings that can take them out as well. Here he goes, starting to set up a ton of liberation zones. There's cannons here flanking though, and that makes it a lot harder for Stats to actually get in. The Vikings moving forward, but the anti-air here is very strong from this many Tempests.
And Ryung is now going to shut down this bottom base. He's chasing this tech away. Storm's blanket to force the Terran back, but Protoss has basically given up this position.
Oh man, Storm's continuing to go on. He walks through his own storm
in his own
right
army.
there.
Wait, what? The Nexus lives?
Yeah, it looks like he does.
What?
Okay, as long as he doesn't lose the bulk of his army, he took out a decent amount of stats units, but he has to rebuild. Like, Ryung needs to keep up his count in Liberators. These ranged Liberators are important. He needs enough Vikings to actually take out the Colossus and Tempest. If you remove the Colossus and Tempest, you can absolutely win this game. Like, he needs to take those out, so I want to see more Vikings.
You got to remember, guys, when you have a bunch of gateway units, if you lose them, you already have, a bunch of gateways. So you can warp that in all at once. But to lose Robo and Stargate units, those produce out of the structure, just like a Terran unit is. You have to chrono that out as fast as possible. It's going to be eliminated from the game for a little while, whereas gateway units can warp it in a matter of seconds. So Artos is completely correct and also very handsome for saying that you have to get rid of those units, the Stargate units and the Robo units, because that's really how you're going to punish Protoss when you're this late in the game.
Absolutely. Like, the bio is just going to be able to roll through a lot of things if a couple EMPs go down, right? So that's kind of the little caveat there. But with the 4 Colossus with +3 upgrades are going to shred your bio so unbelievably quickly.
Yeah. So we're getting to the point where pretty much every upgrade in the game has been gotten.
Yeah, it's very close at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's even getting the carrier upgrade right now.
That's right.
Just in case.
Setting in is a small amount of army units. Now, this is mostly to just get rid of supplies so we can make more units. Meanwhile, a big attack coming up here. You know, with that many cannons, it's pretty difficult for Terran to be okay with actually setting up an attack on the high ground like that, especially with Tempest and Colossus there. Even if you do get a good position, the Tempest and the Colossus just move back a little bit, and you're suddenly out of range, and they're dealing damage to you. And oh my God, he's getting a nuke.
That is exactly what he wants right now. Oh my. Nukes to help push down some of these cannons to make him spread around his detection so that you can pick it off is
he could
just
nuke
awesome.
From there, Artosis. That's what our observer's showing us.
That's so sick. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how often do we get to cast a game like this?
No, yeah. Oh my God, 8 Tempests out right now. See, Stats' army has so few actual gateway units in it. It's like so tech heavy.
Oh my God!
I love it.
He's doing it. He's gonna nuke it. I don't think there's anything he can do. Now,
no,
of course,
just walks away.
This isn't going to be the end of the world. Is that in range of the Nexus?
It might just
I always
barely
feel like
damage
nuke
it.
damage is always sort of ambiguous to me when I see it. We don't get the... All right.
It half the shields, so like 3 more nukes maybe kills that.
Yeah, if he gets another nuke silo, though, he could just kind of continuously be nuking
there. Nuke's not that expensive, really. I love that we're seeing it.
What's funny is that Protoss is going to have a hard time mining from that location for the rest of this game. Because, I mean, Terran, it's basically siegeable from the Terran's home base.
Ryung's bank, though, is very small compared to Stats, so definitely something to take into consideration here.
That's right. It's 4.5k minerals and 1.5k gas here for Stats.
He's barely lost any of his tech units this game, really.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kept his Colossus alive all game long. He's kept his Tempest alive as well. And that's really, it's almost like Ryung needs to go for a tempo victory here, where he kills the tech units and then just kills Stats right then.
He's going mass nukes.
Awesome.
We have 3 silo nukes coming up here.
A carrier on the way as well.
Yeah.
Against a bio-based.
What are we seeing here, man? This is so cool.
Well, Ryung is doing everything he possibly can to try to take this game.
We're going to see how deep that Terran versus Protoss rabbit hole can go, guys. Now, Protoss is beginning to edge in here, but Terran's counterattacking over here at the top.
This is a pretty scary force on both sides.
He's just going right in.
Oh, my God. If he can take down all the tech, that's a pretty big deal. Wow, big feedbacks going down on some of these ghosts.
Snipes coming down, but not before a feedback is sent out. This is like all the tech here for Protoss, by the way.
Yeah.
That's like everything.
Whereas he's having to kill things like planetaries, which Ryung doesn't really care that much about. That 4th base doesn't really matter that much. Look at this. He's bringing in his anti-air.
But there are Archons on the ground, which could be very good against clumped-up air units. Oh, my God. He is resetting Stats. He's knocking it back into the Stone Age. But is this going to be enough? This death ball here from Protoss now moving over to the west side of the map.
Okay, can he hold on to this base right now? Oh, Stats is actually turning around. It looks like he's getting a little bit afraid of what's happening right now.
And I got to say, this is not a fast army. There's no mothership here to recall them back. So he's going to lose all this. I mean, now, we were talking about how much money Stats has, which would have been much more meaningful if it was to remake an army. I think most of that money is going to be spent remaking gateways, Stargates, tech, everything.
He's making mass gates right now, trying to get whatever upgrades that can finish before those structures get knocked out. Attacking this base. This is an important base right now for Ryung. Sets up those liberation zones, pushes everything back. Good enough right now as far as defense for Ryung.
Now it's Ryung with all of his tech here, but not really much mining. And Stats with none of his tech, but mining from at least 3 bases here, from the middle to the very bottom.
Army's pretty close in size overall.
Whoa!
Oh, 6 size storms. Oh my God, brutal right there. Damaging all those Vikings so much. And now he's setting up maybe for a flank.
Okay, some EMPs go down. Terrence committing.
He's going for it, Tasis. This is the last attack of Ryung. He's got to make something happen against Stats right here, right now. The Vikings trying to target down everything they possibly can. The Colossus shredding through these brain size storms everywhere as well.
And it doesn't seem like there's going to be enough here from Terran. He just barely has what it takes to drive this back. And this game, again, it's been a narrative we've had throughout this series is that Ryung's tactical advances do so much damage, but in the end, it's Stats with a bigger army.
He just was too cost efficient throughout, and he still maintains a huge fighting force. Ryung, on the other hand, barely mining right now, trying to scrape together anything he can, but is that going to be enough to take down 3 Colossus, 4 Tempest, and even a carrier at this point?
Supply at this point in time, 134 to 55, and that's going to be it. Ryung taps out. There was just no real way for him to win. And that means that Stats wins and will go on to yet another StarCraft 2 Finals. And perhaps this will be the moment he will claim his crown.
This final's going to be out of control. Cannot wait for that. Stats going over, showing respect to his opponent, Ryung. That was a fantastically played series from both sides. I tell you, I think Ryung could have taken out almost anyone in the world today.
I agree.
But Stats has been a man on fire for quite some time.
Stats really just killing it, man. And you can see strategically, there's so much depth. Ryung causes so many problems, so many cuts, so many bruises on Stats. When Stats sees too far down the road and knows there's a victory, sometimes 20 or even 30 minutes ahead.
Well, we're going to go into an interview in a moment here. No doubt one of the biggest days in Stats' life.
대망의 그 결승전 무대에 올라가게 된 주인공 바로 김대엽 선수였습니다.
Stats is the opponent for Sue in the finals. Congratulations, Stats.
와, 결승전 가게 됐습니다. 소감 어떠세요?
You finally made it to the finals. How do you feel now?
지금 좀 부들부들 떨리네요.
부들부들 떨려요?
네, 너무 좋고.
네.
Says I don't even know. My body's just shaking right now.
경기에서 아직 좀 끝난 지 얼마 안 돼가지고 덜 벗어난 것 같은데 조금 지나면은
I just finished the games and
실감이 날 것 같아요.
I'm just starting to realize what's happened.
공허의 유산에서의 행보가 정말 놀랍습니다. 스타리그부터 IEM 그리고 이번 GSL 결승까지 무려 4번이나 결승 진출. 노력의 결실이겠죠. 어떠세요?
You've been showing amazing performances.
열심히 노력을 한 만큼 이렇게 좋은 결과가 나왔던 것 같고 근데 좀
I practice a lot
뭐한 게
and I put a lot of effort into
제가
this.
딱히 나갈 데가 없어가지고 그냥 집에서 그냥 게임만 한 것뿐이거든요. 근데 이렇게 결승에
It's kind of hard to say that I put a lot of effort, but there's nothing I can do other than practice. And I played games and games and games, and it just kind of came out tonight.
사실 굉장히 좋게 시작했잖아요. 어떠셨어요? 전체적인 평가?
좋게 시작을 했는데.
So overall, how do you evaluate your
첫 번째
games tonight?
세트 때 거의 잡았다라고 생각을 한 경기를 놓쳐가지고 그때부터 이거 혹시
So map 3, which was Cactus Valley,
좀 좋은
I thought I was going to win.
동원이 형한테 내주는 게 아닌가라는 걱정을 좀 했었었는데 근데 다행히
eventually I lost.
정신 차리고 집중 잘하면서
And maybe he has a good chance, I thought, after he beat me there.
확실히 김대엽 선수 이 테란전에 대한 안정감을
So I
오늘
gathered
경기에서
myself
다시
after
한번
set 3
보여준 것
and
같아요.
really tried to focus even more hard on the games, and it ended up working out.
분명 초강세였던 이렇게 테란들을 모두 말살시키면서 결승에 올라가게 됐거든요. 이렇게
You
테란전
knocked down
안정감을
all the
얻게
very
된
strong Terrans on your way and made it to the finals.
아무래도 GSL 32강 때부터 워낙 강력한 테란 선수들하고만
Are there any special secrets you have because you are so strong in Terran matches?
그렇게 경기를 치르면서
Says that since I am.
된 게 아닐까 생각을 합니다.
네, 확실히 상대가 그 공약처럼 어려움을 만들기도 한
Since I am, I've just met Terrans.
2세트에서는 그렇게 공약을 또 지켰잖아요.
So just practicing this much against Terran is what's made me so good.
타이밍이었어요. 그건 어떻게?
잠시만요. 두 번째 세트가 무슨
분광기
분광사도로 예.
그냥 놀라울
On
뿐.
Echo, it seemed like you didn't expect Ryung's initial attack and how to defend it.
네.
상황이 유리.
Stats is trying to remember exactly what happened there.
공간기 들어오는 타이밍을
It was when he lost 16 probes.
그 판은 손쉽게 승리를 할 수 있지 않았나 생각을 해요.
네, 오늘 이렇게 테란전에 대한 안정감을 보여주면서 결승에 올라가게 됐습니다.
Says, I don't think
사실 이렇게 네 번의
expected my
결승에
counterattack.
이렇게 올라가게 된 대단한 김대엽 선수지만 사실 그동안
So
준우승이었어요.
it actually ended up being an easy game for me.
준우승 선수들에게 좀 가려져서 부각이 되지 않았지만 은근히 콩 라인이거든요. 그래서
예.
이번에 또 콩을 만나게 됐잖아요.
예, 맞아요.
어떠세요?
You're second to none
제가
as a
윤수하고
runner-up.
친한데 제가 그동안 그 준우승을 계속 해왔잖아요.
네.
그래가지고 이거 윤수하고 친하게 지내서
네.
계속 준우승을 한 게 아닌가 이런 생각이 들더라고요.
Says, yeah, I know I have a lot of second place results.
참 아이러니하게도
It'll be a really interesting match because Sue and I are both known to be Kongs, which is
윤수를 만나게 됐는데
StarCraft pros who perennially finish in second
뭔가 되게
place.
재밌을 것 같아요. 서로 정말
Says it's going to be very entertaining to watch.
정말
There's definitely going to be some stories made at this finals.
네.
예, 또 윤수하고 또 친하니까 만약에 그 제가
It's impossible to expect who's going to end up in second place.
네.
굉장히 흥미로운 결승인 것 같아요.
네. 저희도 둘 중 한 분은 드디어
It will definitely be a very interesting
거머쥔다는
finals.
사실에 벌써부터 기대가 되고 감동적이거든요. 자, 그러면 이제 보고 있을 이제 또 다른 콩 어윤수 선수에게 한마디 들려주세요.
At least one of you will become a champion. Any words you want to say to Sue?
굉장히 오랜 시간 동안 콩라인을 지켰잖아요. 수장으로서. 계속 그 수장의 자리를 잡았으면 좋겠고.
Says Sue is the guardian angel for the Kong line.
결승에서 이렇게 만나게 됐는데
He is literally the symbol of Kong.
이렇게 만나게
So definitely this runner-up should be his.
뭐 누가 우승을 하든 즐겜 하자.
네, 알겠습니다.
So
자,
whoever's
10년의
going to win the
프로게이머
GSL,
생활
let's have fun
오랫동안
matches.
응원해주신 많은 팬분들이 계실 텐데요. 이 국내 첫 프리미어 우승을 또 응원해주실 팬들에게 마지막으로 한마디 부탁드립니다.
국내 리그 결승전은 아마
There were a lot of fans supporting you on your way. You want to say anything to your fans?
이번이 두 번째인데 지금까지 정말 오랜 시간 동안 응원해 주셔서 감사하고 이번에는
This is the second time I've made it to the finals in a Premier League, and it means SSL and GSL.
팬분들의 이런 우승에 대한 열망을 다 풀어드리도록.
Without your support,
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 10년간의 그 노력의 결실을 이룰 수 있을지 저희
it would be really hard
결승전에서
to do
확인하도록
this. And
하겠습니다.
thank
다시
you
한번
to all
결승
my fans who
진출
supported me all
축하드립니다.
this way.
네, 감사합니다.
Once again, congratulations, Stats, on making it to the finals.
결승전은
Man, this kicked ass, dude. What a great day. What a great day.
Just a ridiculous series, and I gotta say, Sue vs. SOS was awesome too. Feel bad for SOS and Ryung. They put on so many great matches, but unable to make it.
It was not their time, Artosis. These two are the worthy ones to get into the finals. So Stats versus Sue, what an interesting narrative. Two guys who have been getting second place, or at least not winning the tournaments they've wanted to win over and over and over. And obviously, one has to win in just 1 week from now.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Look at this. This is his 4th finals in Legacy of the Void. The Star League last year, of course. I am Gyeonggi. I am World Championships at Katowice, and now GSL Code S.
So he's now been in 4 StarCraft 2 finals, or he will have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas
and Sue has already, he's going to go into his
Sue
5th.
has even more than that, yeah.
So one of these two guys is going to overcome the hump, and the other is going to continue that kind of Greek tragedy of always getting to the very top of the mountain and just not quite able to make that last step.
Will it be Sisyphus or will it be Statsiphus? We're going to see next Sunday, the 26th of March. But we're going to open the show with the legend. It's going to be the 4 greatest Brood War players of all time in a single elimination tournament. What a great way to warm up the stage for Sue versus Stats. One of our most exciting finals. That, like, can you think of a better storyline than the two guys that can't win?
Yeah.
Someone has to win now.
I know. And so, guys, tune in from the very start all the way to the end. It's going to be a great day for StarCraft. Mark that on your calendar. We are starting at 2 p.m. KST. So this is not the normal starting time for anything we've done before, so definitely be there.
Yeah, and as you see, guys, it will be at the Coex Auditorium. You want to show up early, no doubt about that. And, of course, this is the schedule of the legend. And it will be Stork vs. Jaedong, the Clash vs. Bisu, and then the winner versus the winner. All four of these guys are full-time on StarCraft 1 right now, playing their asses off. They're all in great, fantastic shape. So if you watched, we had the same type of thing down in Busan a while ago before ASL Season 1 this year. But this is going to be even better.
I cannot wait, man. And I really don't know out of these two who's going to win. I mean, it's a really tough call.
I don't know. I don't even want to try to make any projections of what might occur, but it's going to be a crazy finals. Spread the word. Have a party. Because, I mean, Stats and Sue are both completely on top of their game.
God, this is cool. This is, again, one of those like esports fan fiction moments where it's like if we had to bend all the rules in the universe to get a finals like this would be what we would want, but instead it just actually happened organically.
Yeah. Okay, so great day of games today.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing play out of Ryung. You know what? Next season, he's due for his finals, right? Last season, round of 8, lost to Byeon, eventual champion. This season, round of 4, lost to Stats, maybe eventual champion. Next season, if he loses in the finals, it will definitely be to the champion. But great match from Ryung, and of course Stats. Congratulations on making it to another finals.
Guys, that does it for us here tonight. Do not miss our finals, and do not miss the Legend Show match for StarCraft 1 starting at 2 p.m. KST on Sunday next week, not tomorrow. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in a little bit over a week. Good night.
Some fresh meat from our souls. Think of what we're fighting for. Oh, step into the light. How can wrong be so right? We are living on the inside, and we are maybe dying on the outside.